I'm glad she's not in the arc right now. I'm glad she's not in the nest, and we are finally live. We just put the
Okay.
link on the ToG Discord.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No, someone did a tier list of all the tier lists that I'd ever made.
Oh wow. Oh, that's funny.
They ranked me over.
Oh yeah, you're doing part 2 of the Shonen one, right?
So what I did this time was because every time I do one, I'm like, they always do something that makes me upset. Like they put Johnny in the Shonen Jump one, and I'm like, I know Steel Ball Run started off in the Shonen Jump, but I associate with Ultra Jump. But they had no other Joestar except Jotaro. What? Like they do things like that send me. So I'm like, this time I'm making it myself.
Oh,
So
wow.
I made my own. I made my own this time. I asked Timmy and other guys to give me like at least 6 characters that they really, really like. So these will be characters we all like this time. So it'll be fun. Interesting. And I see everybody here is going crazy over the live something. Oh, One Piece, ew.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I dropped One Piece in Alabasta. I was
that's
like,
crazy.
dude, I was alright. I was like into it, right? I was into it for a while. Like there are a lot of things I didn't like about One Piece already, but I was into it for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like pretty into Alabasta too. Like I really like Vivi, I really like Crocodile, and then I got to the part where Crocodile like beat the shit out of Luffy. I got to that part where he like dehydrated him and like left him to die in the sand. And oh yo, wait, before I did, can I don't know if I don't know if I'm even like allowed to do this, like if I even have the permission to do it. In the World Economic Journal, am I allowed to do a Tower of Goat ping? Am I allowed to do that?
I don't see why not.
Alright, I'm gonna try it anyway. Alright, yeah, I guess it works. Oh yeah. Sweet. Well, thanks. I mean, I didn't want to do like, the equivalent of like everyone ping on your server without your permission.
Yeah, you can always do it. Actually, I'll do it for you.
Oh, thanks, bro. Yo, what's up, Star? Dude, I see you've been enjoying Kubera a whole lot lately, though.
Oh,
That's pretty. That's really exciting.
I really meant it wasn't hyperbole when I said that should save my channel because
Dude.
I really like One Piece is letting me down.
Yeah, it's your
Tower
favorite
God
webtoon, right? Now.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, it's really good. I think it's the best written webtoon, like straight up.
That's not even for me. It's for me, especially like if we're talking about line/neighbor, easily.
Oh yeah, true. Wait, what do you? Oh yeah, wait, what do you? What do you read that's like not online? Soul Leveling isn't on Naver, is it?
I don't. I believe no, it's not. It's not. But
Okay.
Oh, what on? I can hear. Let me open the app. Sorry. There's romantically apocalyptic. Cause like webtoons, I think some people make the mistake that it's just like if it's from Korea. Not all tell people webtoons aren't necessarily from Korea, just webcomics. A webcomic and a webtoon aren't particularly different. They're just from different places in the world.
Yeah.
So there's a couple that I read that are just from South Africa, like RRBA. This South African guy made it. It's super dope.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Romantically apocalyptic, I believe it's from. I think those guys are from Germany. Actually, I don't remember, but there's a lot that I read like all around the globe. And just like a random site, like I'll send you some just so you can see. Even some that was like smut, like just like there's one I read it called I Roved Out, and it's just like high fantasy, like elves and stuff, like smut, and like it's great.
Wow, yeah, that sounds really engaging. I'm very happy you found you found a work like that. I just started reading one really recently. Someone recommended to me. It is on Naver. I don't even remember what it's called right now. But it's like 20 weeks ahead in Korea, but it's called what was it? It's called Chasing Tales. It's about Chasing Tales. It's like a mystery about like these kids that were like these like college students that were like trapped in a a collapsed building, and they were trapped for like 2 weeks. Like 3 of them died, and like it looked like they were eaten or something. So they got to find out who was like eating the other kids in the building. It's kind of sick. It just started though, so like mystery's gone nowhere yet.
Okay.
But yeah. So now that we're it's about time. So let's start ToG Tuesdays. Let's do a quick introduction real quick, guys. Welcome to ToG Tuesdays. If you're new coming over from Nya's channel, then welcome. I'm really glad to have you. We got Nya here himself, big man. But
what's going on? It's Nya, by the way.
Nya. So I have been mispronouncing it for the past 2 years. All right, that's really good to know.
It's all good.
Dude, I'm sorry. So
honestly, it doesn't even faze me because like my name is weird, like my actual name, and no one could pronounce it. So it's really like it's normal. Like if you got it right, not even that name, you got it right, like I'd be more shocked. So it's not even a big deal.
Dude, I feel you, dude. I don't completely know the struggle there, but like I go to Blaze Pizza, and they ask me for my name on the order, and I say Jesse, and they always put the I in my name, and there's no I, and I'm like, you didn't have to add that, man. You didn't have to add it. But but yeah, dude, can I confess? You're my favorite ToG content creator, straight up.
Oh wow, so second person that said it to me today. I appreciate that. I'm trying. I am.
Dude, it's good stuff.
I'm not the most popular, but
it's good stuff. You're not afraid to get real with it, dude. I appreciate that.
Maybe I'm too real.
Dude, I know you've made an enemy of the certified bomb lovers, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. But for now, let's just start by talking about the recent chapter. I don't know if you're on Twitch right now to see the chapter that I have up here, but
yeah.
First of all, what I want to talk about right here is just this new, I guess the big thing, honestly, the big thing that I actually like about this chapter, like this is so close to a nothing chapter for me, like just a continuation of the fight. But the one thing that actually makes me like it is this scene right here towards the beginning. Thank you for the follow. With the blue demon. I actually really like this scene with the demon and the souls, and the demon commenting on like how the souls are actually just trying to escape Bomb's power. And the reason I like that is because to me this kind of signifies the look at all these cheeks in this. I never noticed how much bare ass there was in this chapter. Oh my god!
There's some naked souls, man.
Dude, it's Bomb and Jin Sung right here. You can actually see their hair. That's kind of funny. So I actually had I had kind of a theory that Bomb would absorb Jin Sung's soul. So hopefully this is foreshadowing for that. But the reason I like this is because I think there's been kind of a running theme in this, or like the real conflict between Bomb and White here is whether or not White can actually corrupt Bomb and get him to stop caring about. Well, I say caring with quotes because it's debatable whether he really cared or not. But like whether he can get Bomb to stop caring about holding back, stop caring about protecting the souls inside him, and really just become that heartless family head who just looks down at everyone with cold eyes. Like, because to White, White can't handle the fact that Bomb, like White couldn't handle back in Dallar Show, and he can't handle right now the fact that he thinks Bomb really cares about people despite his power. And so this scene to me, where Bomb is just burning souls for the sake of, or burning souls and using his power for the sake of killing White, and not really caring about what happens to them, this is to me what signifies that White actually, like, White is probably gonna die. But, to me, White won this fight. White got Bomb to stop caring about the souls, and that's really important to me. Do you
think so?
Yeah, that's what I think. What do you think on that though?
He doesn't. I kind of hear. I don't know if I agree. That's the dilemma. More so, I think it's more of a corrupting of his mentality, because didn't Bam already technically burn some souls to use that arrow, that the teleportation ability?
Yeah.
Like, what would be different? What would be different now? Like I think the idea was to really corrupt him to the sense where it's like he sees power the same way White is, and he's almost willing to do anything to get it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying, because he does look like very cold and disinterested. Like he has like the Gustang, a bug is a bug face, looking down on it.
Yeah.
You know? Like you're nothing,
Yeah,
and
he
he's.
definitely did.
I would say he's slightly out of character because he's not really an enraged fighter.
Yeah.
So I hear you. So I got you.
Yeah. I think the oh, there it is. I think the difference between this and the air. Now I kind of agree with you in that, like, looking purely from like, honestly looking purely at Xenoblade 1 thoughts. Looking from the reader perspective, like looking purely from like an actual like a reader like you and me actually looking into this perspective, I don't think there is that big of a difference between between Bomb burning the souls here and burning the souls, or like getting the souls eaten up at least by the orb here, and Bomb burning the souls by the arrow. But the kind of the issue with the arrow scene, I didn't like this when it came out, is we got that. Do you remember that Coon hug? Do you remember that big like Bomb and Coon hugging? And he's like, Bomb, you're not like me and you're not like White. You really care about the souls when you burn. I'm like, Bomb, did you... first of all, how the fuck did the souls create a teleporting arrow? I don't understand how that happened in the first place. But I think SIU kind of made it a point to say that Bomb wasn't being cold and Bomb was being conscientious and careful when he used the souls there. I don't really agree with that decision, like, myself as a reader, but I think that's what SIU was trying to show. It's kind of annoying.
No, he did present it that way, because this one comes across as a lot more selfish, because he doesn't have to fight White. He could have gotten away and continued the mission. So that's fair. That's a good point.
Yeah. I will say, like, I think there has been... I gotta say, I don't know if you might agree with this too. I know you're saying Bomb isn't an enraged fighter. I do agree. I mean, he's certainly not enraged now. He's just kind of like... He's kind of cold and resigned at this point. Because you see him just, like, looking and standing there.
Yeah.
Apathetic is the great word to describe it. But when you get, like, if you go back, I'm going to skip back to what I assume. Yeah, okay, yeah, this was probably it. Or maybe one chapter before. When you get back to, like, when White is immediately killing him, like, when you get back to when White is immediately beating the shit out of him, he was definitely, I would say he was pretty enraged. I actually really like that White was able to kind of get him to the limit in these last few chapters, because he was just, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I think SIU has really been kind of fucky with the power scaling here, but, like, 3 chapters ago...
He's doing that for a long time.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, definitely true there. Like, in like, the earlier chapters of this fight, Bomb is just, like, Bomb can't land a hit on White at all. Like, White is just toying with him the entire time, just, like, cutting his stomach open, stabbing him through the hands, and then, you know, all of a sudden, Bomb just wakes up. And I don't mind, and I'll ask you about this too. I think it's actually a good question for this one. I don't mind Bomb becoming, like, I don't mind Bomb unlocking more power by getting enraged. I don't really mind that myself, because to me, like, the thing is, I know, I feel like we kind of know that he's going to be powerful, like, already. Like, we already know he's going to be family head level, if not now, then at some point, really above Zaharan at some point.
I saw Haku say that. Only Jock could beat him. That was crazy.
Yeah. Now I'm not gonna say SIU executes it well. I'm not gonna say he does that, because he doesn't, I don't think. But with this, I think what's important here is that Bomb getting this kind of power, I think it's important that it is coupled with either his earlier rage or his current apathy. Because, like, honestly, I think it's so freaking boring to have, like, Bomb actually stay this, like, nice, caring, you know, pure, in a sense of the word, hero, who just, like, continuously, you know, gets this power, and everybody, like, Arya, like, you've seen Arya simping for him, right? Like, you see Arya being like, I don't want this kid to die, this kid's gonna cry for my death. Yeah. Like, I think that's so boring. But...
yeah. I'm in agreement.
Yeah. But, like, I think what makes it... Because I know you've said, in some of your videos and streams, that, like, there's no tension in this fight. And I mostly agree with you, but I can still I can still be excited because of the hope that Bomb is going to become a worse person, and he is going to tap into this apathy when he uses this power in the future, and tap into
Okay.
that underlying anger he has. Like that's kind of the only way that I can still like enjoy Bomb using his power going forward.
Okay. First thing is I agree with one of the comments here where it's like the reason it's kind of funny because when I think about it, I would argue that me and a lot of the fandom have flipped, where it's like I would use everything SIU has shown, said in the webtoon and in the blog post to be like the reason why I don't think Bam is ranker level here at the last station is X, Y, and Z, and now I'm on the flip side where it's like
Yeah.
when White was coming to Bam to fight him or eat his soul, so to speak, I'm like, damn.
Oh yeah.
Is this the end of White?
Yeah.
To me, it's like Bam had all those powers in them, and going back to like the Mindscape world, whatever you want to call it, where you see the blue demon and the souls and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like Bam doesn't know how to properly use and combine all the things inside of him.
That's
but if he
true.
can do that, the power is
he's going
already
up.
in there. It's just a matter of him actually unlocking it and using it himself.
Yeah.
But I will, if he has to actually be mad and or slightly like emotionally disengaged to use this level of power, that's interesting. I could work with that.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
could work with that.
yeah. And it's like I don't want him, and I guess when I say that, I don't mean like he should be like, the same nice boy he is until he like gets pushed to the limit in a fight. Like what I'm really saying is like honestly this fight to me, like the arc is called Dark Change, right? Like I think like in my opinion, what makes this arc enjoyable to me so far, like overall, well, I have tons of issues with it now, but what I was really enjoying about it for like a long time was like this. I kind of want this state to become the norm for him. Like I want him to be like I want this to be a permanent change. Like he doesn't have to be like this, like this apathetic ball all the time, but it's like the stuff that he said. I think it was like 1 or 2 weeks ago, or I think it was 1 week ago, where he was like, I regret it. Oh, it was 2 weeks ago. I regret it. I regret meeting everything. Now the time travel shit, that can stay back in that chapter. We don't need to bring that back. But
that wasn't even the most egregious part of the chapter.
Oh my! What was the most egregious part of the chapter to you?
That backstory. That was so shoehorned in there. That did not move
like
me.
the Arc Raptor scene.
Yeah, I don't like when writers do that. Build that up beforehand. Don't do it in the moment you want me to feel some emotion. It feels cheap to me, personally. Yeah. So that was actually my least favorite part of the chapter. Arya coming back to life, I literally just shrugged my shoulders. Like, oh,
Arya. I kind of agree. Like, I kind of agree with you. I can tolerate this scene because I'm biased towards Arc Raptor. I like Arc Raptor a lot, so I'm not going to complain about seeing him again. But I do get what you mean. Like, if you read the chat, like we've read ToG, we know these guys don't talk at all. There might have been one scene. There might have been one scene in the whole comic where
I remember at one point when they spoke in the second season, but it's just like
he's much closer to Wang Nan than he is to Bomb.
Yeah. I always say this when it comes to like SIU, even Oda, honestly, right? A lot of the times, the things that end up happening is not unbelievable. Like I always say, I always use a Karaka example. Karaka actually caring for Hada-san has never been unbelievable.
No.
And him maybe feeling that Bam getting that treatment, he might be a little jealous. Those are all things that I could buy. But I always argue that he did not display that well in the webtoon himself. We did that work for him.
I think
we, the audience, did fill in the blanks.
I think you and I agree on like one big one big assumption that is very rarely said and kind of hard to explain, where that just because something is explainable in the story does not actually make it good. Mm-hmm. Like I know you kind of fight the Bomb lovers about that too. I've seen you doing that in the comments sometimes. But it's like, because you can always think of a reason. I remember there was some chapter that came out a couple weeks ago or something that I was like fighting people on, where I'm just like talking about like, yeah, you can explain why like these characters are here, But like you can explain why these characters are here. Like you can explain what they're doing and like how they defeated, like Kendrick DL, for example, in the Cat Tower. Like I don't know what you thought about the I don't know what you thought about the Hatsu scene in the Cat Tower where he activated Donghai to beat the or to break through the high ranker control. But like,
so I'll speak personally on
okay,
that.
all right,
Hatsu is one of my favorite characters.
all right.
Now I don't do the thing where it's like, hey, I want this to happen to this character, or I expect this thing to happen. Oh, that didn't happen, therefore it's bad. I don't do that. One thing I've always wanted for him to do was to be the descendant of the REA family, himself as a regular dude in the tower at some point. That was what I want for him. And when White was kind of walking with him and killing, and he's like, yo, this is a weapon for murder. If you're afraid about murdering people, find something else to use, because this is for slashing. I'm like, okay, are we building up to that? So I was kind of getting excited for that moment. Then he randomly goes, I want to be strong for Bam. And I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah, that's
weird.
Kind of
jarring.
That was really weird. Like, they are friends. Like, it was something that's kind of weird. Something they don't show a lot is that like Hatsu and Bomb were like kind of friends since season 1. Like even all the way back in S1, Bomb thinks about like Hatsu, but it is really but like he hasn't climbed with him is kind of the issue. Like he hasn't climbed with him lately.
The only kind of characters that are close to Bam that I think he's done a good job actually establishing that level of bond and friendship is Rax and Aguero. I will throw in Dorsey in there. I don't mind like add like a Yuri or something. Those are okay. I don't mind those, but like Hatsu to me is like, yeah, I believe it. I'm sure they talked and stuff. And Joe said this in the stream. Hatsu was the one that suggested to keep climbing with Rachel after what happened, right?
That's
so
true.
Like it's not unbelievable, but you got to do a better job making that cohesive.
Yeah.
Have you seen Game of Thrones?
I have seen 2.5 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Oh. Okay, never mind that. Because I don't know if you know the controversy with the last season.
I have seen the last season of Game of Thrones too.
Okay, just to like kind of I guess vaguely use the example though. Mm-hmm. No one had a problem with what Daenerys really did at King's Landing. That wasn't the issue. Mm-hmm. How did we get there?
Yeah.
Was it seamless? Was it cohesive? That was the problem. It was jarring.
Yeah.
The way it happened.
She heard the bells and then decided to destroy everything. Dude, the bells just brought back hidden PTSD that the showrunners forgot to bring in. I have a quick tangent real quick. You're looking at the panel right now, right?
Yeah.
Does this look like cum to you? That's like all I can think about when I see it. I want to see if someone else agrees with me.
Maybe because the way it's kind of like
it's like
highlighted or shaded. I see it now. I didn't see it before, but I kind of see it.
It's like it's crazy to me. I'm like SIU. What are we doing? Oh, wait, let me read this comment. Quality of time, better than quantity of time. The S1 crew introduced the world to him when he was basically a blank slate. Sweet and Sour might have spent more time with Bomb, but I agree. I think SIU did a very good job showing Sweet and Sour with each other, but not that great of a job showing Sweet and Sour with Bomb. I'll say it was like worse, somewhat worse in terms of his relationship with Bomb. But as a team, I actually do think SIU did a really good job setting them up, kind of to be like to be a more of a familial unit. I do think he did a good job.
I definitely feel that a lot more with Wagner's group, 100%.
Yeah, I think, and I also do. I definitely agree with you. And thanks for the follow, Sloppy Joes. I also agree with you that Rack and Aguero are definitely the only people that SIU's done a really good job with showing an established bond. I would actually say I have a lot. This is worth like a full 5-hour discussion and like 10 analysis videos in itself, but I would actually argue that Rack is a better friend to Bomb than Aguero is. I think Aguero actually does a lot of like subtle manipulation in like how he treats Bomb, and like still tries to like he tries to enable and coddle Bomb a lot, which I think he's not doing what's best for him in a lot.
I don't think that's a hot take. I agree.
Yeah, but I think Rack I think Rack is much more of an honest companion to Bomb in that regard. I'll also say I think we get quality scenes. They're a little few and far between, but I think we get quality scenes between Bomb and Shibizu. I think Shibizu has shown a very legitimate care for Bomb.
Oh yes, 100%.
Yeah. And then Hatsu as well. And then
I love Big Brain Isu. That's my guy. Top 10.
I do read Raws, Sloppy, but we are not going to talk about them here. I know Nya doesn't. Sorry, I know Nya doesn't. And a bunch of our.
I am actually 1 week ahead because I
1 week
recorded.
ahead, okay.
2 weeks ahead, right now.
Yeah.
Because I recorded them in advance already.
Nice.
Like the next 2 live reactions are already recorded.
Oh,
because
sick.
because of Halloween weekend, this weekend, and next weekend, I'm not really around.
Oh,
I wasn't sure, so I actually did that not too long ago.
Yeah.
So I'm actually technically 2 weeks ahead right now. This is why I haven't been talking about certain things.
Ah, fair. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I also people, a few people here like don't read Fast Pass or Raw, so I like, I'm a good actor, so I pretend I haven't read them for the time being. But yeah, so you know a couple of things coming up ahead.
Part of the reason I did that, by the way, also is to protect myself because I don't know if you had this happen to you. A lot of my subscribers try to pass off prediction, like literal fast pass content as a prediction. They'll be like I say I didn't read this week's chapter. They'll be like, well, you know, how would you feel if White admitted that Bam was stronger than him? Like, that's not a prediction.
Dude,
you know what happened. Why do you do it? It's so annoying. They all do it.
Like, you're not clever. You're not clever.
And sometimes when it's that specific, I get nervous when I'm reading it. So I'm like, honestly, I'm protecting myself. I went ahead a little bit. And I did the recordings on Sunday, so.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Well, I honestly, I don't even remember what comes in like 2 weeks versus what comes in like 7 weeks. Were you I know you've had some issues about the fights in season 3 in general and how the moves themselves aren't really intelligent.
I think just
or, like,
recently, not even season 3, just now, like now since he came back. Like, it's flashy. It looks really like it's like the panels themselves are fine, but there's no flow to it. There's no sequence of events within the individual panels. I can't tell who threw what first.
I've had that issue in the last 2 or 3 too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There
just like, okay, you know, I think White's defending himself. Yeah, he's defending himself. Okay, yeah, he continues to defend himself. Like, I just all right, I guess.
You know what's kind of funny about this chapter is I think it was 2 chapters ago maybe, where Bomb was like, maybe it was 2 or 3. This might have been before Bomb like came back from the dead. I kind of forget the events. I kind of forget like the events or the sequence of events in the last 3 chapters. But Bomb was, I swear to God, Bomb very recently was like, I can't do this for long. I'm gonna run out of stamina soon. And then no, I think that was after he came back, wasn't it? But then I'm like, okay, well now he's making it rain Shinsu, and he can seemingly do that for a pretty long while, so it doesn't seem like he's having too much trouble. But what do you think about? Do you think the Shinsu rain is cool, or are you like bored with it?
I mean, this recent attack where he made those, like, I guess weird, like, circular clouds, almost in the same vein as his like infinite Shinsu's like little thing. I'm like, nah, this is giving me some, like, I guess light like no Enryu vibes.
Yeah,
like,
Enryu
Bam
is
light
Enryu
vibes. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe Night Sky make it rain instead of Cryptid Shinsu make it rain.
Yeah.
I just wasn't entirely sure at the moment what the rain itself was literally doing. Like what actual effect it was having. I wasn't entirely sure.
Yeah.
A couple people said it was rusting his sword and stuff like that. But this is a complete side note. I just think White's barrier is cool. That's it. I just love the barrier. I don't know you could do that. I'm like, hey, I like that barrier.
White's barrier is cool to me. White's barrier is fine to me. I think what I like about White's barrier is it helps explain to me why the fuck White has not bled at all this entire time. Like, Bomb has not even managed to hit him, and I'm like, how is Bomb not even, like, scratching him? And, you know, you'd think it's because White's, like, well, I mean, White, it's I can't say White isn't that powerful, but but yeah, so now we actually see why Bomb is not really touching him, despite all of these insane attacks.
Someone said they don't think Bam was making it rain specifically, he just gathered so much Shinsu in the area that the density caused it to rain Shinsu. I don't know if he did. I can't remember how he framed it, so I wouldn't know.
How much damage would Caliban take? I don't think Caliban can defend himself. Caliban doesn't have a barrier in any case. I think Caliban would be taking some. I think Caliban would be taking minor hits. I think he could tank a lot of it, but
Yeah.
Like eventually it will wear him down.
I gotta. It depends on how much. What can he do with that essence of bravery, energy, arm? You know,
Yeah.
that's my guy. I love Callum. That's my guy.
Oh yeah, dude.
So-
I am such a Caliban fan. I forget what was said in your big stream. Think we were on the same. I think you said in season 3 you ended up liking him a lot more. Is
yes.
that?
When-
Yeah.
His initial introduction was very. I didn't know what he was all over the place because he was
I
like,
agree.
"Oh, you did
100%.
irregular. I killed your master." And Crockett's like, "Did you really kill my master?" He's like, "Yeah." Well, I mean, kind of. I mean, I was there. I was fighting, and I left. So maybe I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? What's going on?
I agree to a huge. I think I remember when. I mean, first of all, I hate Last Station. Like I don't hate it, but like Last Station is like. That's
my second least favorite arc.
It's 30 chapters of complete boredom for me. Like there is nothing that I feel is important besides Jinsung being kidnapped in the Last Station.
I guess I'll just
having
add
Kel
Yuri going to Jar.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's I mean I'm still very.
Shout out to
excited
Water
to see
Jelly,
that.
massive growth. Okay, Water Jelly kind of clean.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Levi's a fraud.
Dude, what the hell was the deal with Levi? I don't understand these like army regulars that are like trying to step up to bomb. Like I like Yule. Yule's a fun character to me. But like the fact that SIU is like, yeah, these regulars are definitely still gonna try to fight bomb right now. Like Varagarv is an idiot, so you know, I can understand him trying to do it. But you know, so like Yule and Levi got clowned on, but then like Yule does it again, and like Yule's like, "Oh, Levi lost. Yeah, what a loser. I'm not gonna lose the same way." And, dude, you gotta know what you're dealing with at that point, man. Come on.
Yeah, I was just like, I literally laughed because I'm like, you're not tough. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if Levi is the person you're talking about, I don't even respect you right now.
Dude,
Because honestly, here's how like I'll tell you how like me
Yeah.
and Vince kind of saw it, right?
Mhm.
The way that it was framed at the moment, I had thought that what we were doing was that like Levi or Levy, however you say, I thought he was supposed to be somebody who was probably comparable to rank or strength. But because of the rules of the tower, because certain high rankers and rankers can't enter certain areas, he has people who are that strong who keep the title of regulars, so he can send them wherever they need him to go. So I thought that guy was probably going to be like
fair.
somewhere on Charlie's level, if you will, a little weaker. He was like an A rank.
That would.
And we're like, okay.
That would
And
make
he lost to
sense.
Stone Edge in Rock Throw. Like he just really whacked. I
Dude.
couldn't believe it.
If you lose to Rack, that's how you know. That's how you know you're not climbing anymore the tower, man.
Yeah.
Like the way I think Rack is actually quite powerful, but the way SIU writes Rack, like if you lose to Rack, that's it for you. You're done.
Yeah.
That was how we knew Nya would be a major threat, because he actually beat Rack in Name Hunt Station. Dude, oh my! I have to, we were actually quick tangent off that. Who are you rooting for? How do you feel about Nya? I know you're a Ron fan. Did you want Ron or Nya to win that fight? Or like, how did you want that fight to play out is what I should say.
Okay, so full transparency, on my very first read of Tower of God, I was going weekly and stuff, because I've been caught up since the last examination in the first season.
Yeah.
It's been like a decade.
Oh yeah.
Ran was my favorite character. Mew Love came on my second read through. Mew Love became my favorite character.
I'm
Maybe
sorry. I'm sorry for Mule Love.
My first read through, Ran was my favorite. And like Ran is still a character that I really like and care about, but I've given up. I'm not seeing Ran again. I wasn't really rooting for Nya, but Nya has one of my favorite moments because it kind of adds to Elaine's character when he kind of figure out the fact that, how she was treated by her family.
Was that the one where like Elaine recognizes the talent?
Yeah, and said
Yeah.
I would pay a lot because she knows how the 10 great families treated her,
Yeah.
and she knows how it feels to some degree. So she made him a boss instead.
Yeah.
So when he's like, "Don't lose Kaiser," I was like, "Damn,
Yeah.
that's powerful." So
That was
it a
nice.
good send off for
That
him.
was a good one. Also, another random thing? Can I say, if you look at this panel, why doesn't the triangle match up with the lighthouses? Like, which assistant was responsible for that? That's not difficult to do.
Yeah,
Like that's a
funny.
really
I didn't notice
quick
that.
fix there. I just noticed it now. That's a really quick fix. I think there have been a lot of kind of janky moments with the art lately. You know what I've really been noticing? SIU just forgets to like draw lips sometimes. SIU or his assistants. Like I've seen panels of Arya with like without her lips, and then he just straight up you know like the little short guide Soho, the one with Kel. He just like stopped drawing her lips at some point. Like she had really thick lips in like the first couple of chapters.
What someone noticed is that when characters have to look in a certain direction both ways, they kind of look cross-eyed.
Oh.
if you look like really one eye's looking right, other looking to the left, it's like, oh wow, I didn't know that. So.
Yeah. And you are correct. You are correct, DD, about needing the 3D, probably needing the 3D space. I think it's like it runs into it and it kind of like gets trapped in a 2D field, maybe. Also, the last thing I wanted to bring up for this chapter, Asensio, I guess, has returned. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Asensio returning here?
She has a plan. I can't wait.
Has a plan.
I know she's cooking up something. That's all I needed to see, and I know she's cooking up something. So I can't wait.
You were happy about this. Is that correct?
Okay, it was. I guess I wasn't upset to see him. I was shocked. Like, what the hell is he doing here? Like, because I thought when she said like brothers, I'm thinking like maybe like Rand, other regulars. I didn't think like. So I'm thinking, is Akari here? Are we going like Hidden Floor, Sword Art arc? Like, am I gonna see this guy doing spells? Like, I'm here for this.
I would like to see Akari. Oh, and yeah, Raj, you just brought up the bomb posing too. Nya, are you aware of the bomb posing? I don't know if you call it something. All right. Okay. Have you seen when characters sometimes are just like they stand up, their like shoulders are really stiff. They've got like the fists like this, like their shoulders are just there. You can see it like. You can see it like 10 times a chapter. Let me see if we have one in this chapter. Let's see. Okay, actually a rare normal stance here from Nanatona. This has been a pretty dynamic chapter with body language since it's mostly combat, but I don't know if we're gonna find it here. But
I kinda think of what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's like ever since Last Station, like I've been seeing that like all the time. But okay, so I'm not mad that Asensio is back. Like I'm not like I was surprised to see him as well. I'm not mad that he's back, but okay. Why is he dressed like this? Why is he looks like he looks like I don't know, he looks like Thug Lancer or something. I have no idea, like from Fate. That's like all I could think. Like why is he like he used to like he if we go to like Hidden Floor, he had like spandex on. Now, I get it. Like, it's been, a few thousand years. You're going to climb the tower. You're going to start your own major... And they hyped him up, too. They were like, this guy started his own faction within the Coon family. Like, this guy...
I think it's the...
And he looks like a lackey now.
Yeah. Someone said it in my comment section, and I think it was a good way of putting it. They're like, he's probably somewhat of an equivalent of maybe a branch leader. Be a family if he's able to start his own faction like that. I think someone said that in my comment section.
I just don't think he's dressed the part right now.
Okay, that's
like
fair.
He just
maybe
doesn't look like...
Put the cloak back on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, put the cloak back on, and maybe I'll believe it. Yeah, honestly, like if it was like a regular coon, like if this was the mysterious coon that like stopped the Hell Train back when they were trying to get on it, I would have been like, oh wow, that's him, that's awesome. But then they're like, this is Asensio, and I'm like, wait, this is Asensio, the guy with like the super serious guy in Hidden Floor? I'm like, what changed? Merchant. I feel like most people like become self-serious as they climb the tower, but this guy's gained a sense of humor. I think it's one of those things that I might actually come to appreciate. I think I might come to appreciate his dress. But like he seems really laid back, and he wasn't laid back at all when we met him in the Hidden Floor.
He's a big man on campus now.
I guess so. So yeah,
confidence done gone up.
Yeah. So kind of getting more into like the greater scope of Tower of God. I'm gonna start off with a simpler thing right now. All right, what are the things that could happen in like the next? What are the next things that could happen in the next 5 or 10 chapters? That would just make you drop Tower of God. Like, what could happen to get you to drop Tower of God? Mule Love dies. All right, that's fair. If you're a Love fan, dude, SIU killed them already, in my opinion. I hate to say it, The second he brought him into the cat tower, and then went like 10 chapters. How many chapters have we been in here? We haven't even seen the guy. I'm like, okay.
I will never forgive him
I'm
if
like,
Arya lives and he dies.
Arya-
Are you kidding me? Who is she? I'll never forgive him.
I
I'll go to
agree.
Korea myself.
I can't understand why Bomb brought Arya back to be like I can understand why Bomb brought her, but I can't understand why SIU decided to have Bomb bring Arya back. Just because, like, what does Arya do for him? Like, she can't fight White anymore. She's just gonna watch probably, and she's just been watching the whole time. And
She's
like,
out of her element. I mean, they figured
she's
out her
out of her
time
element.
distortion pretty quick. Both of them figured
Yeah.
it out pretty quickly. All things considered, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
When you think about it, I was like, what the hell? How y'all figure that out?
Did you like the scene with Mule Love when he came back? Like when like Augustus got him to like blackmailed him with the chicken expenses.
So, if that was, first of all, I say you forgot, first of all, that, or the translators messed up. He's not a fried chicken merchant. He's on the spicy and seasoned side,
Exactly.
all right? Get the
what
lore
that's what I
correct. The
was
Mule
thinking.
Love lore is so important,
That's
all right?
what I
It'll
was
save the
thinking.
world. It'll save the world,
That's
okay?
true. Translation
But,
bad. It's not
for
been
me,
there.
it was the combination of literally everything, and most importantly, obviously talking about how he doesn't like the Jihad Empire or FUG based on what happened to his other family when he kind of got bodied. It was like, I can help you find the murderer, right?
Yeah.
That to me was enough of the push.
That was cool.
Like, so it was the money. Obviously, you're getting a lot of
Yeah.
money. Not talking about his debt or whatever. He's using his
Yeah.
paycheck for chicken. Plus finding like the murderer of like who did that to his family. I'm like, okay, if you combine all those things there, that's a good enough reason for him to be there. I'm okay with it.
Do you think if he lives, we're actually gonna find the murderer?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't need
and
that though.
some people have suggested it's Karaka, and I'm like, I'll fight y'all. Don't do this to me.
I feel like it's not Karaka. I feel like it's
probably
not
someone
him.
way stronger.
Karaka's just not the kind. I feel like Karaka's just not the kind of guy that would like murder a bunch of random people for no reason.
I mean,
Karaka's not a great
we're
guy,
still
but like, I don't think
if
he'd
we're
do that.
still going off blog post information, he used to do all kinds of things in test, right?
Yeah.
Make sure certain people failed and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Was that
He's a rise.
Karaka specifically? I thought that was just FUG in general.
I recall them saying
Like
it was
FUG
Karaka
made.
because I think that's when they
Yeah.
called him the rising star of FUG or rising something of evil. I can't remember exactly what it was verbatim, but
Yeah, I know he was assigned tasks, but I didn't think he was like doing those.
Oh, you know
own
what? He
volition.
wasn't doing it himself.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's what I was thinking.
It was
It's
orders.
the
Okay,
elders.
that's true.
The elders could have ordered him, I guess, though. I guess he could have been. Man, yeah, it's a weird. You know what I was actually, something that I thought was pretty interesting. So, I know from a lot of the discussion that we have, I have to go back to the last station for this. I know for a lot of the discussion that we have, I hope this is the right chapter for it, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, it is. All right. People like put the responsibility on Bomb for pretty much all the stuff that happens at Cage and Nestor, like getting people into the situation. Karaka was actually the one that planned out like the Cage and like the Jin Sung rescue. He was the one that wanted to do it. Like, he was the one that talked about getting other Slayers in the loot for it, getting revenge on the people that captured him, saving him, getting the elders. And then he was the one in the beginning of Season 3 that was actually planning, like, trying to recruit Yama for this. I just thought that was kind of an interesting bit. I was looking through that yesterday when I was, like, looking for Andraste
I don't think
panels
it's
for
the
stuff.
only instance. Like, would you put the death of Prince and our captor on Bam, or would you put that more on Wagner?
I mean, I would put it on, at the end of the day, I'd put it on, or if I was really talking, first of all, I would put it on Wang Nan. But if you had to, I'd probably give it to the people that killed him, Rachel and White.
Well, yeah.
But no,
my point is that,
I blame Wang Nan for that.
I wouldn't
more than
associate
Bomb.
that blame with like Bam or like that's why when he did that face, I'm like, don't you make that face?
I mean,
you don't care about them.
Honestly, out of everyone the most, I blame Kel Helm. Like, I blame Kel Helm for like everything that went wrong. I think it was all his fault anyway.
He was
the one trying to fuck up.
What
everything.
is he? What was the point of him?
It's weird. I feel like I don't know what changed. Oh, I have some thoughts on Karaka and Jin Sung too, Raj. Wang Nan's crime is being stupid. Wang Nan is I love Wang Nan, but he's not a smart guy. That's just how it is, unfortunately. But crap, what was I just about to say? Oh, dude, what's up, Vince? Good to see you two hopping in here. But yeah, for like, I guess when it comes to that kind of, when it comes to Kel Hellam in his role, I can't tell. Like, I can't tell. I agree that I can't tell what SIU wanted for him. Like, I think he was just kind of maybe he's there to introduce Fate stuff, like Raj is saying in the comments. Maybe he's there to, like, maybe he's there, like, maybe he was just there as a cause for why things at the Nest were going wrong, like the power behind Gatto, because, like, Gatto planned the coup, but, like, realistically, literally, like, nobody could beat Yama anyway. Like, Yama can just, like, kill anyone that opposes him, except for maybe
That's why
Kel
it's
Hellam.
very funny that this plan is predicated on him not waking up from his nap.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, exactly.
so funny to me.
Yeah, exactly. It is. I honestly couldn't believe that Yama took a nap in that situation. I was like, I mean, I know Yama, even if Yama didn't know about the coup, like, Yama kept, like, hyping up Dang Dang, he kept hyping up the festival, and he's like talking all this big shit, and he's like, I'm gonna go take a nap, and I kind of get it. I'm like, Yama, big guy, does what he wants. At the same time, Yama taking the nap is just kind of annoying to me. I kind of wanted Yama to be a much more active spectator in that. But I do like, I guess I like Bomb and Karaka working together in that instance. What I really like is Karaka kind of keeping Bomb. I think Karaka's really, I know I've heard you talk about how you have some issues with how Karaka sided with Bomb in Last Station, but at least at this point, I'm like okay with Karaka being the guy to give some more intelligent guidance to Bomb in combat and like kind of hold him back and protect him in some instances. I like him being able to. I like him being a bit of a tactician.
But Bam's stronger than him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Why listen?
That's kind of that's kind of the interesting thing about it. It's like Bomb is definitely stronger than him, but Bomb is
Karaka is now literally the
reckless.
baby slayer again.
Yeah, like Bomb is stupid and reckless, and without Karaka, Bomb is going to get himself killed, unless SIU continues to keep feeding him these bullshit powers, which he could and he does all the time. But when Karaka's with him, except for the time he pulled out the shield, he didn't. So
and then what made me like laugh too, because you think Karaka's like in control, he's trying to discuss with Yama, and then Bam's like, anyways, like free Dang Dang.
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh my god.
Karaka's like, bro.
Yeah. You know what I really feel bad about Karaka for most of all though? Well, first of all, he's unlucky.
The pain I go through every day.
Oh yeah. Oh man. No, I've quite liked that. I know he's like not that strong right now, but I actually really have enjoyed the Karaka content that we've got between not that much in the cage, but like in the Nest I've actually really enjoyed every Karaka scene we've had. I really like Karaka being the guy. Like I really like Karaka giving Bomb the guidance on Calivan and helping him take him on. And I think, Karaka is definitely one of the best characters in the webtoon, in my opinion. Like, definitely very, very high up there.
Oh man, season 2 Karaka makes me back.
Dude, he has so much weight. It's incredible. But like even post Nest, when we get him like talking to Dowan, and Dowan's kind of like feeding him a bunch of bullshit, and Karaka's like, yeah, fuck this shit. And then Dowan's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, I'm a slayer. I have a fucking army. I really like Karaka. I really like Karaka being just generally like a level-headed, tactical individual in these chapters. Like he pulled one over on Chi, and I fucking hope he actually fights Fashil and stuff. I've been waiting for that for a long time.
Fusile is
how long has it been?
Fusile is thing's number 2, right?
He's
Scratcher, right?
Yeah, he's
from
like
what we could tell.
He's like the second.
That would be big if you could do that. That's cool.
He's like a higher. He's like Fashil. I think should be about. Well, he's not the second in command. I think McCage is the light bearer, but he's like the second division corps commander. He should be around where Chi and he was. Like he should probably be around there because he shares the same position as Chi and he in the 5th Corps.
I got you.
So, yeah. And then I think Hasacha, the Fox Girl, it shares the position with Sharon. So they're probably Fashiel might be. Hiracha does say he's stronger, so I don't know. It's kind of weird. I know we had like a huge debate on like I did a power ranking a few weeks ago. We had a huge debate on like where Fashiel. Oh, it's messy. It's real.
I am
messy.
so scared to try to really.
Yeah, no, it's like
I don't know what's going on.
See, that's why I did. That's why I did it on the ToG Tuesdays stream, because I was like, all right, if I get everyone to do it, it's not all my fault when it comes out
you know
trash.
what? That's the tech.
That's how it goes. That's how we do
tech.
it.
That's the
Yeah,
tech right
because
there.
I remember, dude, like some of the first ToG content I published was just me making fun of like other tier lists like that I saw on YouTube, and I'm like, dude, this is garbage. And I was like, and then eventually I was like, all right, I can't do this without making one myself, because if I make one myself, of course people are gonna like beat the shit out of me for it. So I might as well just like put myself on the same level, you know, not pretend that I have not pretend that I actually know what's going on either. But yeah, so there's a lot of there's a lot of really messy stuff in power scaling here. But what I really feel bad about Karaka for, besides him being extremely unlucky, and just getting outclassed like in every fight, but what I really feel bad about him for, Jin Sung does not give a shit about Karaka. Like,
No.
we have the flashback where Jin Sung's like, Karaka, you know, like, survive, bro. I'm giving you this armor. And that's how Karaka remembers Jin Sung. But then you see like the all the scenes where Jin Sung is like here, like he goes to the last station to save Viol, you know, and that's fine. That's okay. You know, he cares about Viol. He's allowed to do that. But then he's like, he does not mention Karaka once in the last station. He's like, sorry, he might say like, I leave it to you, my students, or something. I don't remember if he said something like that or not, or maybe that was something Karaka thought. That might have been something Karaka was thinking about, like, we're his students, we have to take up the mantle. But like in the nest too, like all the scenes where like Jin Sung is like, you know, staring at Ma Sheni's ass as she faces away from him that whole time, his entire inner monologue is like, Viol, you can't come. Bomb, you can't come here. Ma Sheni is dangerous, you know? Like, what are you planning, Ma Sheni? Bomb, you can't come. And I'm like, you know, Karaka's trying to save you as well, right? Like, you know, and they've been working together for so much longer. Exactly. I have 2 students. It's insane. Like, once he gets Bomb, I understand. Like, I think everyone understands why Karaka hates Bomb. He's
They didn't
the
even technically
unfavorite.
call Caliban one of his students, dude. He never claimed.
I guess so.
Claimed
Caliban's like one guy. Caliban is literally just like a guy Jin Sung like met, shook his hand, and gave him a piece of advice.
I know, but the way they framed it was like he mentioned him. Like, did you? You just met him. You talked. Then he went in the crystal.
Yeah. That crystal. So, do you think Bomb is gonna get that crystal? Do you think Bomb is gonna get the essence of bravery?
I don't even think. I don't even think they're in conflict anymore. I think that's done. I think Caliban is. I think Caliban versus Bam is done.
I think so too. Do you think he's going to defeat Liberic or not?
Okay. So here's the thing.
All right.
I'm not gonna make the same mistake I made with the Asuracha and Yama.
What are we talking about here? What mistake was that?
I said Yama could wash him. He stood no chance. He was tired. He was fighting the Elder.
Sorry.
He was in full transformation. I went in and they're like, and he got packed. I was like, I literally made a video.
Sorry.
I was wrong. My bad.
Man.
I made a video about it. I'm so wrong.
Mm.
That's why I made the video with Liboric when I was like, hey, I might be downplaying him. So I gave him his respect. I think he's very strong. I'm still putting my money on Caliban. If the fight's not interrupted and it goes to its conclusion, I think he'll win.
I agree. I also believe that Caliban will win. I was kind of like wondering what Caliban would do after this. Honestly, I think Caliban's just going to get killed by someone else. Like, I think he's going to kill Liberic, and then like Ma Sheni's gonna kill him or something. I just don't see him. I used to think there was room for him to continue existing after this arc, but I just don't know like how he'd be interesting anymore.
There's only really 2 avenues I could think of. So maybe SIU has something better.
I wouldn't mind if he joined Red. I don't know. That'd be like I don't know.
I think he would join Bam. that team because I'm
mad.
still not entirely sure how this is gonna. How would he get back in the army? Like how does that work? Like how do you get his position back? Like, I'm not entirely sure how that entirely works. Or he becomes literally like a fugitive and he's on the run. But while he's on the run, he's trying to hunt for Bam in order to kind of redeem himself to get back his position.
I was kind of thinking. That's what I was like thinking. His direction, like that's like my kind of predicted direction for him. Like he goes solo and hunts Bomb, and I know Adori gave him. Some people think that Adori gave him a mission to kill Limerick. Some people actually think that Caliban in secret knew to some extent what was going to happen and was already gonna go after him. But yeah. There's a good question in the chat too. How do you feel about Caliban switching sides?
I was about to answer him via text. So, like, I don't like it. Like, I'm not a fan of it. But I'm actually going to give SIU credit because I would argue that based on how he presented Caliban, Human Collector, and his group and stuff, they definitely follow Caliban more than they follow the King. Even though I probably would have argued based on what he said to Hajin Sung when he's like, oh, like zealots like you are just beyond saving, right? He's like, he's the king, he's the strongest, he's the mightiest. So like he came across as a Jihad zealot, but like zealot, but like even with like his crew blowing up and everything, and he's like, yo, I'm coming for Liborg's head. Like I think he set it up well, that it was believable. Like I
believe in the grudge.
In my heart, I really was hoping it would be a ceasefire, and then once it's done, it's back to Bam. But I don't think it's gonna play out that way. So I don't like it, but I don't think it was forced. I actually think it was okay.
Okay. Yeah, I still really dislike it, but I like it. I'm kind of in the same position. I dislike it, but like it's not something that I can. I've managed to get over my anger for it. I was much angrier about Dewan switching sides when that happened. Those were really close together, and I thought Dewan's switch was much worse.
I've given up trying to understand her, so. She's all over the place. I'll just when it's all said and done, I will in retrospect, in hindsight, I'll take a look at all our actions. But until then, I'm not even trying to figure her out.
We might have a little more to go, but honestly, like I really do like Dewan besides that moment. But I think at the end of the day, Dewan is just trying to live a normal life, and I think the reason she switched. I think the reason she switched is because the way she understood the Bomb speech. I hate that Bomb speech with like every fiber of my being that he gives to Caliban. The reason she switched is because she thinks that like even if the army defeats Bomb here, or like even if the army were to defeat Bomb here, if she were to go against him, like they would still continue to breed rebellion. It would go on forever. Like there would never be any escape for her, and she would always be like she would always be like doomed to watch that. But if she can side with Bomb now, then and if Bomb actually succeeds, then like that's her best chance to actually like live a normal life and kind of and get away from it all. Like just end all the strife that she's been like put through for good. I don't like that, and I think that Dewan actually should have more firmly been against Bomb after hearing him talk about how he would, just always keep fighting anyway, and more people would inevitably be sacrificed. I feel like that's something that Dewan actually really didn't want to happen, but, I'm not SIU. He's clearly given Dewan complex motives that even the most observant reader cannot understand. So yeah, I agree with you. It's difficult to understand her.
Her and Kel Helm are usually the two characters that threw me for the loop the most in the third season. At least, what is he here for?
At least I know about Kel now. Like Kel is just terrified. Kel is just terrified and desperately wants to believe now that like they have a chance against Zahard, so he came to the nest to wash, but is just so scared that whatever he does is just gonna be like is just gonna result in everybody getting fucked that he's like too scared to do anything. I think Kel is going to help them escape at the very end of the arc. Like, I think they're going to need to escape somehow, and Kel can use his arrow to get them out. That's like, maybe honestly, maybe he'll just use the bull thing he has inside him and like sacrifice himself somehow. But I think his powers are more suited to helping them escape anyway. But yeah, that's kind of my stance on Kel right now. But I'm not invested in him, really.
Neither am I.
Yeah.
I want to see him again, actually.
Yeah. If Kel didn't return, I wouldn't really mind too much. So we talked about dropping Tower God. What is something that could happen with like completely restoring your faith in Tower God? Like, what would really excite you? Like in the next like 5-10 chapters.
Okay, I'll just get the obvious answer out the way, which is you'll love doing things.
Okay.
Right, that's the obvious answer.
Fair.
Like, I'll just be happy. Or Crocker as well. Honestly, one of the big things that would help me a lot is if the other characters are actually like on screen more and doing something that I find is interesting and actually helpful.
You're not a fan of the crab game?
I was just about to go to Tamato and the crab from Moana. Like, at the end of the day, I still like it's one of the things. Like, okay, being able to remove all the cages, even though they killed them all, but remove all the cages.
Yeah. So
that Yama could get to the end on time because he wasted a couple turns fighting Yasracha and not yielding. That's significant. Being able to remove Yasracha like forcibly that's pretty significant. But is that shit fun to watch and listen and read? No, I don't want to be here. Your stock market capitalism lesson, I get it. All right, can we move on? Like,
it's weird. It's a weird. My biggest issue with it is that I think it's like too complex a game. Like, it's a game within a game that did not need. They took like half a chapter to explain the rules, and
it
they're
wasn't
also
complicated.
And they're fighting a random crab, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if they were fighting, I don't know. Like, I mean, if the game was like easier to follow, and like you could see like more directly how it would help as opposed to like buy points to buy items and like have the system that way. I think it could have been more interesting. I don't know who they could have gotten like on the army side to actually make that interesting in a way that doesn't end with an army ranker just completely destroying them. But like a random crab man, I'm like, what are we doing here? You know, I'm just waiting for the flashback for the crab that's like, dude, Yasracha, I was king of the ocean, dude. I was king of the ocean. But then one day Yasracha came. He killed my wife. He killed all of my concubines and captured me. I don't know. I'm waiting for every single. I want every single character to have a flashback. I really like the flashbacks. I'm waiting for the Hasacha one, where she's fighting Chi and He and tells everybody about, or she tells Chi and He about how Yasracha killed like everybody at her high school prom.
I like the flashback because I think I understand why he was doing it.
Yeah.
I think the trick is the trick maybe the red herring is like, oh, I feel bad for these guys. Like, I don't know them. Yeah. I don't really care about her Hasaracha, right? Yeah. The one that had Sung Yu fought.
Yeah.
Has the black hole. And Kendrick Dial? Kendrick, right? Don't care about them. But if this is used to frame Yasaracha as this sort of like beast tamer, like this apex predator almost, I think that's really good. Like, you're doing a good job because this dude is scary. He's cold. Like, he's certified. So if that's why he's doing the flashback, give me more. I want more of them. I just think that one with Aracha was really long and really detailed. It was really long. I was like, yo, it
was a full chapter.
It was so long.
Got full chapters. I think they were really good in two ways. One is that they, as you're saying, they did a great job building up Yasaracha. Like, he's despicable and he's a mastermind. He's extremely powerful. They build him up as an antagonist really well through those stories. And I think also what I really enjoy about them most of all is I think both of those flashbacks tie into a theme in Tower of God that I was like that I've been like really invested in for like the entire time I've been reading. And that's just like, you get to see more instances of how these people climbing the tower and acquiring power are slowly changed and corrupted over time, and then end up abusing or sacrificing the things that they, wanted to change, protect. Like, they end up sacrificing their goals that they were aspiring for in the first place. I think SIU did a great job talking about that as well. And then of course
that's a common thing where it's like as they go up and in the pursuit of power and trying to get to the top,
Yeah.
you lose parts of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
What
I get
I
that.
and one of the, I'll say another reason that I'm still okay with Bomb being like super powerful now, with the caveat that I want him to keep losing his empathy as I think he's doing right now, is that there's a really good comparison to be made between, and if you watch the stream regularly, you've heard this from me probably 3 or 4 times now, but the the comparison between Bomb and Wang Nan is really important to me. Like, I see those two as like foils of each other. I know Bomb and Rachel, you can argue, are like really really good foils themselves, but I think Bomb and Wang Nan are like the really good like power comparisons, or the power foils, where like Bomb continues to climb, continues to get more powerful, but he's much more focused on only protecting the people who are like near him and completing the objective in front of him. Whereas I think Wang Nan has a much wider goal, desires much more ambitious change in the tower, but he's so weak that he can't make it happen. Like he can't make it happen, but at the same time, since he's still so weak, and we'll see what the sword does to him down the line, but he's managed to stay. And you can like, there's an argument to be made of whether or not it's because he's weak, but like he has not been corrupted yet, and he has stayed weak, and he still is a much more like holistically benevolent person than Bomb is. That's like
I can see why you're saying that. It's probably not something that I thought too hard about, because truth be told, I've always said this. He's important, vital, and I want to see more of him.
Yeah.
He's not a character that I just personally care about.
Fair.
So I don't really think about Wagner that often, or even his team members. I don't really like Gosang or whatever. I'm not a fan of them like that. Really, I'm not.
Thanks for the follow, dude. Yeah.
But
Gosang is that. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I can see it. Like, I still think Rachel is the better foil, but you don't. I don't think you have to have one in the story. You can have multiple.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I would argue, like, I'm not even going to go into it, but Suna has a couple of Reborn, Byakuran, Sanzis. So
wait, what does what?
I was talking about Suna and Reborn. He has 2 foils, I would say. So
I don't know that one.
Oh, it's a manga. No worries.
Oh, nice.
Old school, not old, but like 2000s manga.
Yeah, fair.
Katekyo Hitman Reborn.
Oh, I didn't hear the first part of that. I haven't read it, but like I know what it is.
Okay,
it's
one of my.
That's
like my early high school
wow.
memories.
Yeah, my early one was Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple.
Shout out to Shigure, one of the baddest.
Oh my god,
she go crazy.
I really liked.
She go crazy, dude.
I don't remember who I was like really snipping for in that manga. I thought Miu was really pretty when I was younger.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but the characters, other characters doing things that are important, whether or not it's necessarily related to combat or strength, will do a lot for me. Because I always say the one thing about season 3 that I really liked was that moment. Like, Shibisu helped find like Lafave, that was cool, but like Aguero doing what he did to help them destroy the Windbird core, like those two are smart. So long as they're in the background making plans and machinations and stuff, totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Rack is gonna have to fight though. Rack is a combatant. You're gonna have to do something with him. Figure it out though.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I really liked the. A lot of people that I see kind of still complained at the Windbird stuff. Where like they were like, okay, Aguero like should just not be powerful enough to be pulling off any of these tricks. But honestly, like that to me, I actually ended up being a fan of that fight, because I thought like that was good teamwork. That was like actually good teamwork. It was nice. Like that's the kind of fight. That's the kind of fight that I want to see in the future. I actually think SIU has really painfully underutilized light bearers in Tower of God in general, but like now that like I'm only thinking about this just now, but like I think a couple of other people have thought this, and I've talked about this with them, but like one of the worst things that SIU did for the fights, in my opinion, was getting people to fly, because now people can just kind of like stand in the air, and like being able to fly heavily enables standing around and throwing beams at each other. Like, you do not need to worry about terrain anymore.
Yeah.
But like when you get like light bearers, you have like you can divert Shinsu, you can like you can divert the flow of Shinsu, you can freeze people, like you can restrict movement in that way, and that would honestly be a really using more light bearers would go a very long way, I think, in fights for high rankers. And like I know so much of the Tower God going forward is just like individuals showcasing their power. But if SIU ever thought about like really doing team fights again, even with high rankers, that would be very very good, very entertaining. But yeah. So what are like the most important things about Tower of God to you? Like why did you fall in love with Tower of God in the first place? And like what do you read it for, like thematically? Like what do you think it's about? Like, yeah, what do you think it's about at the end of the day?
We somewhat touched on like not losing yourself in the pursuit of success. So that's a big thing that I've totally agree with you from the get-go. That was a big theme. Obviously, if you're talking about the central plot, go to the top of the tower, get wish, you know. But at the time, Tower of God was just completely different from anything I'd ever experienced. The mystery, the ambience, the way it was being told. This is like 2010. This is a really long time ago. It was not my first webtoon because I was already reading Noblesse and God of High School, and I believe not the game.
Again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so they were all really like I was already a webtoon person, so not like it was my first webtoon, and that's why I really liked it. It's like the reason why I'm so mad at the anime, because the anime makes this seem like a very run-of-the-mill shonen, in my opinion. Whereas when I think about season 1 of Tower of God, the way that things would just come at you was just different. Nothing was quite like it, especially the ambience. And then I remember when I got to like the Crown game and especially Handsome Use Examination, which is still my favorite arc. I was like, oh, I love this, because even if like I was the strongest dude ever, you cannot win this test with strength.
Yeah,
you just gotta pick a door in 5 minutes. Obviously, I'm wrong in hindsight, but at the time, that was like I was thinking of things like, okay, so there can be so much more strategy.
Yeah,
I like seeing like them work together. I remember when like Aguero did the little trick on Quant back in the first season, the pulley lever arc. I can't remember what it's called right now, off the top of my head. But I'm like, oh yeah, we're doing this level of strategizing and tactics. I'm here for it. So that's kind of what kept me in it. And Rachel. I say this a lot. I don't know what Tower of God would be without Rachel, but it would not hit the same. I think Rachel is one of those characters that are so vital to a narrative because of how she moves the needle or throws a monkey wrench into whatever is happening. Love her, hate her, indifferent. This story needs Rachel, and anytime Rachel comes up, I'm invested.
I completely agree. Like Rachel is completely necessary to the. Like, Rachel's completely necessary to the story. Like, she's the most important character after Bomb, for sure.
I actually agree with that.
There's probably an argument to be made Rachel's the most important.
You could make the case with some... Yeah, you can make the case.
But I think Rachel definitely is necessary for the fact that despite, like, not even being powerful in the least, like, she's just able to, like, plan things and, like, able to... Like, she's able to plan things, able to, like, she seems like a pawn, but is somehow always able to kind of escape the control about, like, she's able to escape whoever's controlling her, in a sense. Like, you know that somehow she is going to keep worming her way up, and it's really interesting. And the other thing, and the thing that I actually think is, the thing that I think really makes her unique in fiction, I guess, is that Rachel is a character who, you know, I shouldn't say forces. I'm going to say forces, but that's the wrong word because plenty of people don't, and that's how we get kind of the smooth brain, like Rachel's a bitch readers. But Rachel forces people to change their perspective on, like, everything that's going on.
Like, how is this any different from what you're doing?
Exactly, like Rachel.
She calls out the hypocrisy of other people.
One of my favorite scenes is when Rachel is just like telling Andraste, it's like yeah, like I'm like, you know, you're Like, you're pretty, you're the one on the team, they forgive you for all the shit that you pull, but of course, I'm not on your team, I'm just an ugly, mean girl, and they're gonna be mean to me for that. Even though, like, there's blood on your hands too, Andrasi. Like, there's just as much blood, if not more, on your hands. And, like...
And in Korea, beauty's very important.
Yeah. Wait,
I find
Korea,
that it's also a central theme to some degree in a lot of Korean webtoons and stuff that I read, like the being good looking.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So that probably plays into it a little bit too.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that when I was reading that. Actually, that's a good point. But yeah, and just all this other stuff that because you see like in the epilogue, you just like see how all of this went from her end of things, and you see like whether or not you assign like full responsibility onto her or not. It's like you see that there are a lot of things beyond her control that she is getting swept up in here. Like you see, like you're supposed to hate Rachel for the betrayal, but like, and you certainly can, but day one, you also see that she was not welcome in the tower. Everything is against her. Like everything that she does, everything that she climbs for, is like she has to kick and scratch to get it. And all she can do is use people. All she wants supposedly is like the breeze, the stars, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so it just kind of forces you to look at it should make you look at, I think, like what she's actually doing in comparison to Bomb. You know, if you really wanted to get into it, what each of their actual sins, so to speak, are. And actually compare the two and wonder, how bad is Rachel really? I would still argue Rachel's errs on the side of bad, but it's a very complex situation that she's in.
And my moral compass is probably not great. Not the best person, so like I don't even disagree with anything she'd be doing like that, honestly. There's a lot of people, like, Guerrero does a lot of underhanded things for the victories that he gets, too. Like, I don't see them as any different, in honesty. Yeah. My rage for Rachel...
I think Guerrero is much worse than Rachel as a person.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But it's a family trait, I guess. It's a Kun specialty.
Yeah, true.
They're all conniving.
Yeah. I think, I'll say this. Ron isn't very conniving. He's kind of an outlier in that sense. Luckily, Ron is just powerful enough that he just beats the shit out of things, and he doesn't have to connive. Yeah. That's what makes him unique. I just thought about that now too.
He's more like snobby and bratty.
He is pretty snobby.
Like, I just want to nap. Go away. Yeah. You're annoying.
Yeah. What was it? What did you think? Do you remember the scene in very far back, all the way in Hand of Arlene, when you find out that they were killing Yatang, and the bird guy, and Rachel stabbed Dan's legs? What did you think about that scene?
Oh, I loved it.
It was raw as fuck, definitely.
Yeah, I loved it. I remember I was like, but at the time that happened, I did not like Rachel. This mother, this. Yeah. But I think that's if you can get your readers to have an emotional reaction like that, you're doing something right. But it was scouts are kind of my favorite position, and I like speed. So Dan was fast. So I was like, damn it, not Dan. No. So it was just my emotions were all over the place. I think it's a good moment though.
So I guess the real question I was really getting to here is, where is this scene that I'm looking at? I don't remember what chapter it's in, but the real scene the real question I wanted to ask, has anyone ever presented you with the theory that, Baza, the Baza analysis there, Thos, that Rachel saved Dan's life by stabbing him in the legs multiple times?
No, I've never seen that.
All right, well here's the argument. Okay, I'm gonna lay out this argument for you. I don't believe it. I'm not sure. I could believe it. I'm not sold on it. Here it is. I'm not sold on it. But, alright. So, Rachel comes in, and Rachel starts by asking him to join her. Because, I think it's because Dan hasn't really done anything wrong in that sense. I don't know what Yatang did where he had to die. That's kind of crazy. But, Dan didn't really, fuck up anything at that point, you know, and he probably wasn't as indoctrinated as Kuhn Nova. It was probably because Dan was new. It's probably because Dan was the newest one. So he rejects her and then just, you know, kind of emotionally beats the shit out of her. Really fucks her up. And of course Apple and Michael are trying to kill her, or trying to kill him. And she's asking him to, like, you know, come with her instead. And now this is the panel they really like to, this is the panel proponents of this really like to analyze right here. So if you would ask a Rachel Savior theorist on what's going on here, Rachel is actually looking at Apple and Michael about to kill him, and they're actually saying Rachel is looking at them and looking past Dan here, and like she really doesn't want him to die, and so she stabs his legs so he won't come after that. Like, since he won't join him, she stabs his legs so that he won't come after, like he won't be able to come after her. And at the same time, like, since his legs are stabbed and he, like, can't use his, like, only power, they won't actually have to kill him and they can just leave. And then, you know, she says she didn't do anything wrong, and maybe that's her justification, or, like, maybe that's her using her justification, like, is saying, like, I didn't do anything wrong, I had to do this so you could live. That's the theory. That's the theory that goes around here.
Yeah, I reject. Entirely. I don't buy it.
What I think happened, honestly, what I really just think happened...
She robbed him of the thing that he takes the most pride in.
Yeah.
Legs and speed.
I really think Dan just pushed it. You know how White... This is the same to me as White saying that he ate Arcrafter and Princess Souls. Like, yeah. Dan just said something to push her to the limit, and she went crazy. Like, okay. That shit just fucked her. Much simpler, much easier to believe. I could hypothetically... You know, actually, no, I could not see SIU doing that anymore. I think SIU has actually taken some of the complexity.
I think the scene is a lot simpler, as it seems. I think they overthought that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes around, but it's kind of interesting to think about. I think the most fun theory... Have you read any theories that you think are fun? Do you read ToG theories at all?
Nah. Only whenever it comes to, there's some people who send me a couple or tell me when they have. Yeah. And I usually like, yeah, no. But the only one like I literally did recently was the Yama. Is Yas Ratchet low key protecting Yama? That was the only one I've heard in recent times that I thought made some type of sense to me.
I think there's probably credence to that. Like he's.
Yeah, or at least he wants them to just stay like in their cage and not disrupt anything, and you know.
He does not really want to kill Yama. It looks like.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely fair.
I think him and his dad made some type of promise to protect my boys.
The only theory I read and partially believe in is one called Tower of Answers. It's very long. It's like 40 pages, but it's like some of the major points in it are.
Send it to me after.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, oh yeah, no, it is pretty interesting. I think it actually sets up a story pretty well. The major points is that Perry is working with Gustang. Arlene went to floor 1, and Rachel and Baum were actually at or around floor 1 with Arlene and whoever else was there, like her followers. And then there's a ton of other stuff that I can't recall off the top of my head. I will say, I don't remember it right now. I don't remember it right now, I don't believe it. I don't believe in this. The most fun theory that I've ever been sent is that Cha is actually the 8th son of Lopobia, and he's been faking everything the whole time. I really like that one because it's the only way to make Cha an interesting character to me. I don't know how you feel about it. How do you feel about Cha, Nya?
Wow. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Cha rubbed me wrong initially because he immediately bent the knee to Bam, and you know how I feel about Bam. So I'm like, oh.
That's why I liked Dewan at first, because she didn't do that.
Frame 1, she's all like, oh, brother.
Yeah.
But I actually was kind of, I don't know. I just liked how he carries himself, and I really liked his showcase, I guess if you want to call it, against Kendrick, when he's just okay, he sees beastification, and in his head he thinks, oh. Is similar to canine transformation. That's something that I thought the quote unquote genius Han Sung-yu should have been able to piece together in his head immediately. Like the way Cha was thinking about things in his head and coming to these conclusions about how the sword works and the sword blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, these are probably some of the thoughts I expected the quote unquote genius to have, but I digress. Cha got my respect during that chapter, and moving forward, I have no problem with him. I know he's supposed to be. What is he supposed to be again? The first son of man or first son of something?
He's like the descendant of the first man. Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think, and some of the theory was like, it's like we know so little about any of that it's like that it's easier to believe that he's making it up. And like there are some other things where like he can like actually channel the snake and stuff. It's kind of crazy. It's a crazy theory, but it would be kind of fun though. He's also definitely an incredible fighter. Like he was enough to get Yasrasha to say, "All right, boys, let's back off." But that was that was fun. There's also a huge theory. I haven't read this one. There's a theory that Bomb is the son of Zahard. Honestly,
No.
I'd believe it, but I just kind of don't care about it.
I don't.
Like, I'm like, yeah, I guess he could be, but it's whatever. Like, it wouldn't change anything.
Then the whole conflict that we understand now is a farce, with V and Arlene and.
It's not even. Well, they don't say that. So Data Edwan is the only one that says that Bomb is the son of V. It's never, like, nobody ever actually really confirms that besides him. So I guess you'd have to, like, not believe him. Which
That's what I'm saying.
I don't believe him.
Because Gus Dang was like, yo, you know, your mom, whatever, yo, dad, I ain't talking about him.
Your dad was
like
the
that
worst
guy.
guy
He's the
I've
worst.
ever met.
Yeah, I'm like,
I mean, he could be talking about Jihad, though.
Grace, V, like, I think it all connects. I think that's one that they're overthinking that one. I don't think Jihad is
I mean,
like, did not kill you before? Like, come on, man.
I mean, if he's the worst guy he's ever met, he could be talking about Jihad if he's like planning against him and stuff.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I don't really believe it either. I also
the tension stuff too. I don't know. I guess
right. I mean, Bomb is such an insane Shinsu master that I feel like Arlene and V probably are, because they do say like V is with the tension, like you said.
Yeah, and he's a spell breaker, so you know.
I think Arlene was like the big. Was V the spellbreaker? I thought
No. She was tension. Arlene was a spellbreaker, so I'm saying he took traits from them. So like
exactly.
great at packing a bam with power.
Yeah.
A bang with power. A bam with power. A bang with power, and then you can dispel things. So.
Exactly. Yeah, that's definitely true. But yeah, how did you feel when all that dropped? Were you in awe when that big reveal dropped in Floor of Death with like all the Arlene stuff and the Enryu stuff?
That's probably one of my favorite info dumps just in general. Like when Garamus is going in, I was like,
it changed the game.
Like, yeah, it was great. And usually I'm actually not a fan of getting information that way. Yeah. I don't really. Well, that's not true. In a graphic novel, I don't like when you just beat me to death with text. I'm not a fan of that. That's why I don't like Togashi. I don't even think his series are bad if I'm being serious. But I can't stand them. Show don't tell. I'm a fan of that when it comes to animation and graphic novels. But the information was so vital and so game changing, you can't put it down. That's great lore.
What I think about the whole show don't tell thing is that I think something that partially so there are two things I think that partially justify it. One is that we still, at least it's not straight text. Like, at least we do get a lot of visuals in all of it.
Oh, he didn't just draw the panels and put words in them.
So
like the other bozo. Yeah.
But like what I also think that could justify it in the future is that we know that Garam didn't give Bomb the full story, and we know that Garam, like, at least in some way, hid part of the truth or lied to Bomb about some of that crap. And I shouldn't say crap, but like she didn't give Bomb the full story, and so I think that gives room to have like an actual like flashback, like an actual like witness flashback later on when the rest of that story comes out. Would SIU do it? I don't know if he would.
That would be great,
nice
though.
To us,
I would love it.
Yeah, like there's room for that though. There's room for that, and it's like if it's all just like Garum recounting it, then it's like, if it's all just Garum's imperfect retelling, then it makes a little more sense at least. Like, I can at least understand it. I still have reservations. I know chat's saying this too, but I have some reservations myself on how that game was changed. What I think I could have been okay with it if Baum did not say after he heard it that, like, all right, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go after, like, I'm gonna fulfill Arlene's mission. Like, I'm gonna be that child. I'm like, what? Why? What makes you want to do that? And then he's like, I'm not doing it because you told me. I'm doing it because it's what I want to do. I'm like, why? What's the justification there? That's honestly, that's been my biggest problem with Baum so far. We've talked about this a million times.
He's a tool?
Yes, exactly. He's just a tool. Everyone manipulates him. Everyone, and like,
that's crazy.
And it's not even that everyone manipulates him. It's that everyone manipulates him, and SIU never examines it. Like, SIU never the only time SIU points it out in the last like 200 chapters that I can remember is when Karika is talking about like artificial hatred, like where he's like, they molded Baum into a slayer.
Okay.
And like if people pointed it out, I think that would actually, like, that would go a long way to me in making Baum a more interesting character. It's like Baum is to me inherently an interesting character, but SIU
because of his history and his lore behind him, but
because of the history, because he's just manipulated and doesn't have a real philosophy, like understanding that he believes what people tell him, understanding that he at heart just goes along with kind of whatever's easiest for him to get through the day, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That makes him interesting, but then SIU just has every character just simp for him and be like, man, Baum is gonna save us all. Like, everyone having absolute faith in him instead of acknowledging that he is a tool. Either SIU is pulling some 500 chapter, 10,000 IQ move and is going to like shatter all expectations, or he's just not focusing on it, and that's.
I actually think this is like a good segue into like the next parts, right? So, right, first of all, for the CBL thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trey was wondering, right? Who was wondering, right? Yeah. What's his name? Drake has an album called Certified Lover Boy, like CLB.
I didn't know
someone had just randomly asked me on stream if I listened to it and I like it. Like, nah, but I'm a CBL certified band lover. I just threw it out there randomly. Just what came to my head. And as like I've been obviously like Bam is stronger than White, and I've been on Bam's side, which usually I'm not really rooting for him. Yeah. I just made it a thing, so like it just caught on. So now they can be hashtagging CBL all the time. Fair. But that's really how it started. Yeah. It really just something I threw out kind of randomly. Yeah. But okay, so I liked Bam up until pretty much the last station. The last station is when I start to descend, and it's one of those weird things where it's like. I don't blame Bam. I blame SIU. I know it sounds right backwards, but
it's not Baum's fault that he's boring. It's not his fault. It's everyone else's and SIU's writing. Yeah.
You point out one thing that makes me like Hua Ryun a lot, because while Hua Ryun is using him for her own whatever, she's the only person I've ever seen hold him accountable. You're acting like Rachel Helltrain when he was getting the tickets. He was just mindlessly going after it and losing the little interaction with Yura. I'm like, yo, thank you.
Yeah.
Everybody coddles him. You're just a perfect little boy. Do nothing wrong. Like, I can't stand that. He goes through no adversity. So that drives me crazy. Yeah. Bam being as strong as he would be fine if it had some type of drawback. Let's say this fight with White ends and like he's legitimately exhausted and this like Liborg pull up or something. That's gonna happen. But I'm just saying, like that's like someone pull like
you need Cha to save him at that point.
There's never any consequences for anything he does. He just does whatever, makes bad decisions, and gets away with it, and gets stronger. I can't deal with that.
And you touched upon I think a very underrated moment in the series too. At that, everybody shits on Train. Like, everybody thinks Train City, at least the beginning of it, is like the most boring part of the story, where they're just like playing volleyball or whatever, like they're playing football in the lobby. But that's, I think, one of the really good things about that that's one of the only times where Bomb makes poor decisions and it actually gets him in trouble. Like, and like people understand that he's making poor decisions. Like Bomb is like, yo, give me the ball. He fails. Everyone's like, Bomb, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, yo, give it to me again. Just trust me. I'm hanging on to it. It's gonna work.
I got it.
Like,
I'm a fake right. I'm gonna go left.
and then he fails again. And they're like, Bomb, you're gonna fucking lose us the game. And then like thankfully for him, third time's the charm or something. He gets it. But I'm like, that was actually like a precarious position. Bomb was really fucking shit up, and he like shit was really bad for him there. Like shit was really bad for him. And like some of the stuff he was doing ended up he was burning through their tickets, and he was like, and indirectly I could argue he is indirectly responsible for getting Hana Yu's hands burned, the pink-haired girl. But like so he's actually like really facing it, and what's even better about that is like people actually don't trust him in that moment either. They're like they're calling him out. That was good. Like that's what we need to see more of. That's what I really want to see from Bomb. People
Absolutely.
are like because it's not that Bomb himself is boring to me. It's like the way everybody reacts to Bomb is boring. Like people become boring when they're around Bomb. It mitigates the conflict. Like there should
He comes across as a very blank slate RPG character that you're playing, and he just doesn't really do nothing. You're just like, do you want 500 gold? Go find my daughter in the forest, and you just go do it. Like that's how he comes across to me a lot of the times.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you have like one of the big instances of this like crappiness that I really see is when, and this, I'm not going to say it's inconsistent when to do this, but we see the Coon hug in the nest. I'm going to talk about that again today, because Coon is like, Bomb, you're different, bro. You care about the souls. And I'm like, all right, is this, like, do you legitimately believe this? Like, do you believe from the bottom of your heart right now? You know, I actually do believe it. But I think Aguero is being, or maybe SIU is being really disingenuous here, because what that does, like, what that lecture to Bomb does, it just, like, it doesn't help Bomb actually figure out how to use his power, because he was always, like, saying he cares about the souls anyway. All it really does is just calm him down and get him to, like, keep going onward in the nest. And calls him, he's like, Bomb, since you're responsible in the way that you use your power, you can use the souls. They're probably okay with it. You're not like White. And then, like, go keep saving Jin Sung. And then, of course, we come back from hiatus, 5 chapters later, he's massacring, trapped species in the cage. I know he's forced to, but it's like, at some point, you gotta realize, I know Bomb cares about Jin Sung, but he's killing, like, tons of people to save this one war criminal. Is that worth it? Like, is that worth it from, like, a good person perspective? And I know, like, here's... Like, of course, we don't have to believe Bomb is a good person to root for him or like him. But the issue is that, like, Aguero is, like... The issue in that is Aguero is calling him a good person, and everybody's saying he's a good person. So
what
it's
are you
like...
seeing?
Exactly. You're seeing something different. And that's also... You know what that's... Do you read SIU's blog posts?
Okay.
Do you see the...
Full transparency,
Okay.
I haven't read the last 6 or 7.
I haven't either. But, like, he would always say this stuff about, like, how Bomb is, like really sweet and compassionate and stuff. Like, he's not this... The only time I thought SIU had a really cool thing to say about Bomb was when he spared Elaine and was, like... And, like, the blog post was, like... Bomb is not perfect justice. He empathized... Like, he chose to save Elaine. If he was perfect justice, he would not have done that. And that was cool, because SIU's acknowledging that Bomb doesn't make, like, the best decisions, or doesn't always have, like, everyone's greatest interests at heart. But then now, well, it's just not reflected in the webtoon. It's just not reflected in the webtoon, Eliza. I don't blame you for not reading the last 6 or 7, because, like, it's just SIU depressed or anything.
The thing about it is I have someone who always vaguely tells me what it's about. They're like, oh, his wrist hurts, he's in pain, this and that.
Exactly.
Right. So like they tell me what happened. I have not. I'll probably cave at some point. It's just like it's hard for me to care about it because it's very jarring. What I read him say and when I read in the webtoon, like it don't line up to me.
We found SIU's been replacing some of them actually, at least one of them.
Been what?
SIU's been replacing one or two of them. He
Really?
He's actually more filtered in his depression sometimes than he initially appears to be. Like he was, there was one blog post that we got like a message. We got a message. I remember like the ToG Discord mods got a message once of someone saying like, they were like, yo, this blog post translator is saying stuff that's completely inaccurate. Like none of this is in here. And our translator was like, what the fuck? What are they talking about? So they go back and read it and they're like, wait, SIU changed the blog. And we're like, wait a minute. Yeah. So he's been like re-uploading one or two of them. And it makes...
That's interesting.
Yeah. But a bit like it's just stuff.
I did hear he's redrawing the older scenes in the volumes, right? Because I was gonna get them because they're in French. I can read French, right? So I was gonna get them. But then like I got mad at the series. Like I want to give him my money right now. Yeah. I'll probably cave though.
Yeah. Oh man, as Raj said in the chat, he's removed the world building, so I'm just not as interested. And he's also retconned a lot of that stuff too in the world building. Yo, actually, you know what? Speaking of retconning things in the world building, you are a Yama fan, right?
Oh yeah, like Emort stuff in Bay Road.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about?
So what I've always said this. What conceptually, what he had in the blog post sounds far more fascinating. I wanted to see him like he had to get out of Bay Road. He came back as a ranker. Emort helped him out. You see how the Slayers have a connection. All that stuff. I loved it. I just actually don't think the three brothers thing is bad. Like it's not bad. It's not a bad to me. It's not a bad story. It's not a bad way for it to go about it. Is it as interesting as what it could have been? No. So I let it go. But for like
I respect that.
A year, I was upset about it for like a year. I'm like, oh man, what is this? Where's the more? Like I was so ready. Yeah. Like nah, none of that. But I let it go.
I think I was it looked like it definitely looks like it's not happening now. One of the things that I remember people were like pretty excited about. I think it's this chapter where we see it. The bath, yeah. I remember people thought this.
The shadow, right?
Was like Immort, yeah, or like something Immort related, and like
I remember that.
I think they're still gonna be related because there has to be a reason Mad Dogs have angels. Like there just has to. Like SIU wouldn't just not have a reason for that. I still think they're gonna be related somehow, but like he'll probably make us something new. It wouldn't necessarily be bad. But yeah. I was also really I can respect it. I'm still a little bit miffed on the stuff, and some of the other stuff is like some of the stuff that he did say in that blog post, like in that world building, is like still there.
I wonder if that's his complete form, low key. No, I'm thinking about it.
I actually kind of agree. I was kind of wondering that too. Like now, I think this is just his full transformation. Like I think he's gonna end up looking like that. If he did, that'd be cool. I will say with Yama, I'm not a fan of the Super Saiyan form. I know it's just a design choice. I think I'll say that. I think Yasuracha's is worse. I think Yasuracha's nuclear reactor form is probably worse. But honestly, I'm gonna tell you what I wanted to see. I wanted to see high ranker werewolves, man. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a big red wolf.
That's what I was hoping
for. Slapping the body parts off of everything.
But after seeing Yasuracha's, because I'm like, what the hell just happened? Yeah. What did you turn into? I thought you to be like some type of apex predator, canine, feline, lion, whatever. Even if you want to go in like mythology or something, I was like, okay, you just weird. Like you said, nuclear reactor. It's scary though. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I at this point, I just expect like Optimus Prime from Yama. It's gonna be like it's gonna be a Transformers battle. That's why they call it transformation in the first place. But yeah, now so you are pretty critical of Bomb at this point, then, right?
Oh yeah.
So I have a quick question then. What is this? What is the? Explain yourself. What am I seeing right here? I found it.
I watched this on stream. I watched this on stream, and they were like, "Who is this? Who is this guy?" I'm like, Bam is so great. He's one of my favorite main characters. And I'm like, look how happy I am.
What was going on in 2018? Was that Hidden Floor?
This is Hidden Floor, yes. So this is like the 3 orders dropped. Yeah. We just saw Jahar. We're
3 orders was cool.
Peak love for Tower of God right now. Like going crazy. This Data Floor stuff's been cool.
Yeah.
Shinsu qualities. We're loving it. It's great. I'm thinking about his transition from being like the little baby monster to JVG to like where he is now. I'm like, yo, this growth has been great. And it's just really funny because I remember we hit the last station and I just started bitching about Bam every other chapter. That's where the set started because I know you said Floor of Death, and you're in line with Haku with that because Haku has a lot of problems with the Floor of Death, and a lot of people did.
I know Bonehead said he wasn't the biggest fan of it anymore.
I had my first major Tower of God issues in the last station. That's where I started seeing fissures. I'm like, ooh, I don't know about this. I don't know about that. I don't like that. This could be problematic later. And lo and behold, we are where we are. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you can finish first.
Shoot, I don't.
All right, I'll take it then. So when it comes to Bomb, honestly, when I first started, so I've actually, and I've changed my opinion to this a little bit on rereads. My first, I didn't know what to think about Bomb for like the first I guess 2 years that I was looking at ToG maybe.
Okay.
And I liked him in season 1. I think he's a really good audience surrogate in season 1, and he's really good for learning how the tower works. And then we really see him get characterized more in season 2 and understand what he's been through and stuff. When I first started having issues with Bomb, I actually started having issues with him back when the Hakeem arc started.
Okay.
And the reason for that, it wasn't that I didn't like Bomb as a character. It's that I thought Bomb got the boring end of the stick when it came to plot. We had in Hakeem Dollar Show, the month arc, Bomb essentially is just training. Bomb is training. He's going around the train, and people are wondering how he doesn't have killer instinct. And then the Rice guy is your true self. You gotta find your true self. And meanwhile, and Bomb is in the rice pot then. Meanwhile, we have Wang Nan and Yiwa running around with Vicente. We got Wellsar Elliott chopping people in half. We got all these other people are running for their lives, fighting people in this really dynamic chase essentially. And then we just have Bomb we just kind of have Bomb thinking about stuff. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I've really come to appreciate the slower moments in Tower of God. But at that point I just thought his plot was boring, and I wanted him to learn the things he was learning in a more engaging way, a more tense way. And then Name Hunt Station, you get Name Hunt Station, I start having issues with how other people treat him, and they're
that much, that I could understand.
You have Aguero pushing Bomb to be more human and look out less for everyone, when the whole thing, I really think a lot of what he was learning in Dollar Show, and the stuff he does settle on in Name Hunt Station, is the stuff he does settle on is he wishes he could protect everyone, and he wants the power to protect everyone. So Aguero is trying to keep him focused, which isn't that bad of a thing. It's a little bit coddling and it's a little bit weird. But Bomb is trying to get the power to protect everyone without really figuring out who he really is. Floor of Death, Bomb is essentially told who he is and accepts it, which made me mad. Hidden Floor, I can't even, I don't even understand how Bomb comes to the conclusions he does in Hidden Floor. The only thing I really like for Bomb's character there is that he absorbs State of Viol. I thought that was actually a really nice moment where he he has a Persona 4 moment, he accepts himself.
Yeah.
That stuff was actually pretty cool. And then, we have now confident genocide Bomb in season 3. But I'm sorry for rambling a little bit here. What I actually kind of changed my perspective on, I've actually come to appreciate Bomb's actual character a lot more in the Dollar Show, because I think and you can argue he's only like making these decisions because he's forced into the moment. But I think, and one of the reasons I like the conflict between him and Hakeem/White so much, is that White pushing or Hakeem pushing Bomb to the limit and like trying like confronting him so heavily, trying to like tell him how crazy he is and like how he doesn't fit into how like his vision of power works in the tower.
Mm-hmm.
That forces it essentially forces him, but I think it gets
it comes
Bomb.
full circle.
Yeah, it totally comes full circle in the long run. But what I still appreciated him back then is that was when I could like most support Bomb. Like it made like when Bomb was choosing to fight Joaquin, even if he was kind of forced into it by Joaquin's direct antagonism, like I was very much siding with Bomb there. Like I knew why Bomb was siding against Joaquin. I knew why Bomb thought that what he was doing was evil. Like it didn't mesh with his vision of friends and wanting to climb with everybody and not being this like being who thrives off of sacrifice, because he was always that kid in season 1 who was like, we don't have to fight each other, why can't we get along? And Joaquin taps into that part of him, and so I came to really enjoy Bomb in that. And like I thought he was I think people will say he's generic there a lot of the time, but that was where I was able to best understand where Bomb was coming from. And then from there, we get more into
I think that's a good way of looking at it. And yeah, I actually, you presented something. I'm gonna look into it myself, but you presented something. I want to think now, like in a lot of parts, like this. Do I agree that it gets a lot of the more boring narrative parts, things to do, where it's like everyone's more so running around doing interesting. It's like, train, punch, get stronger. Like that's interesting. I never really thought about it that way, so I'm gonna look into that a bit. But you made me realize that stuff does fully come full circle. But I do also think that I argue that White has some type of beef with the regulars in general, based on his dad, based on Bam. Saw what happened to Gustang when he had the souls on the floor of death. Like that's the insurmountable wall he can't get past.
No, that's definitely fair. I think White is kind of like, I think White is a little bit similar to maybe Ho in that regard, in that like there's a lot of resentment in that like the sacrifices are the only way that he knows how to like gain power. Like to him it's like he can't gain power the same way as an irregular can. Like he's limited, and there's probably a lot of pent up resentment, and that's definitely hammered in with the Gustang scene that you were talking about. That's definitely true. Yeah, I think where do you think Bomb is going to go like forward from now? Like after this arc ends, what do you think he's going to end up doing? Or like what do you think he's going to end up doing? And B, what would you be interested in seeing from him going forward? If you could be interested in seeing things from him.
See, I guess that's the problem I'm having. It's like, what does come next for Bam? I've heard a lot of people say a solo climb. That's cool. Am I interested in that? No. Administrator test, we can do more of those and see how those goes. I guess. I think that my headcanon, this is pure headcanon. This is not really based on anything. I think what's going to happen is Bam is going to become a truly famous figure in the tower. This war is going to solidify his position as a Slayer candidate. I think he's going to become the first Slayer to get the title of a Slayer without being a ranker.
I was kind of thinking that too.
When it's all said and done. And with the power-up that he got now, what's going to help justify where I think his position would really be around like 60 at this point. Well, justify it as his strength. He's strong enough to do it. 2, you can have the recognition in terms of he just did this crazy thing against Libark and Caliban and Machani and blah, 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 saved his master. Or maybe he didn't save his master, but still he did something crazy to get respect from the tower. Yeah. And now he'll finally have real influence on FUG as a result of that. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen. That's the best I got for him, really. In terms of what he's literally going to be doing, I don't know. I just don't know. I think what will help me understand that more is if I can get a better understanding of what legitimate level of strength his peers around him that aren't like already higher rankers are, because the higher rankers don't need to do any tests; they're done, right? So
Yeah.
even if they're like around, they'll just be watching him do stuff. So I'm not sure. It's really a good question. I don't have a good answer for you. But except for that, really.
No, I kind of agree in terms of like what it'll actually be doing. I just think SIU's like gonna be unpredictable with it myself.
Okay.
Like we're probably not going to anticipate what he's actually going to be. I really like what you said about Bomb having more influence in FUG at that point, though, and maybe and something that would excite me about that is if Bomb actually took a leadership position.
That's
in
what
FUG.
I'm thinking. Like he'll finally have a proper
yeah.
faction.
Like he gets to start giving people orders now, and like
precisely.
That would maybe give him more agency. That would be good for him, I think. But B, that ties into something that I would really enjoy from like that would ties into what I want to see relating to Bomb going forward, and that's actually what I really want to see more than anything, especially with this dark change, is for Bomb's current allies to look at him more critically, and either we get the fact that some of them are explicitly using him, or we get that some people have trouble supporting what he's doing going forward. Like, Bomb becomes a more divisive figure to his friends, essentially. Like, Aguero is in with Bomb thick and thin. He's going to send for him.
Him and Rack are not going to probably won't. Rack might challenge him.
I have a
in like a boneheaded way, like, what do you do? Why are we doing this? This is why. Okay, cool.
I have a crazy ending headcanon that I'll share after this. It's truly insane and it's never going to happen, but it'd be very fun to me. But so like if Bomb really settles into the Slayer role, and I think that would really cause a lot of that would cause a divide between his allies. Aguero and Rack definitely still in with him. Rack, I think, is someone that could get issues over time because he does care about Bomb staying true to himself, or at least true to the person that Rack thought he was.
Or thinks he is
for the most part, yeah. But then we get characters like Han Sung and Evan Kell. They're not going to give a shit. They're going to be very happy about this.
Yeah.
And they're going to serve him
power.
willingly.
That's raw.
Then you get someone like Arya, however, who's useless and doesn't matter at all. But like she's like, like when he's like, I'm going to kill White, Arya's like, is that what your dead friends actually want you to do? Like, think about this. Make the wise choice. We get Arya kind of criticizing him a little bit there, being a little bit skeptical. We had Dewan in the beginning. Not anymore, certainly, but we had Dewan in the beginning being like, this is a little bit crazy. But then we have people... I think what I really want to see is the other regulars start criticizing him. Obviously, they can't challenge it, but like if Bomb became a Slayer, like if Bomb became a fully fledged Slayer, and like actually like if people saw what he bless you, kind of cough bless you, but like if people nice, but like if people like if his friends saw what he was doing now, like if his friends saw what he was doing against White, like some of them would really worry about him, like, I mean, Aguero would probably be worried about him, like, just being, like, dark and stuff and, like, kind of becoming a god figure, I guess, because Aguero wants him to stay human. But, like, how would, like, my real question is, like, how would Yiwa react to Bomb taking up this mantle? Like, I have a lot of trouble believing that Yiwa would still want to support him. I know she had that scene where she's like, I'm gonna follow this guy till the end, but, like, would you really? Like, if you see what he's doing now, like if he, like, you see him, like, killing all these people for the sake of, like, saving Jin Song and stuff, as much as he cares about Jin Song, is that something that Yi was really going to support? If Wang Nan sees Bomb doing exactly what Wang Nan criticized, which is forsaking the other people around him, as Bomb fights, like, all these species and stuff to rescue his guy, like, is Wang Nan going to be able to keep supporting that, too? Like, if Horyang... Like, I know Horyang and Kasano had that, well, Kasano mainly has the conflict about, like, whether he's a person or just a tool.
Okay.
And, like, would Horyang see Bomb and, like, make that connection? And so I'm like, what I really want to see is Bomb to come into conflict with these people later. Obviously, they are never going to hope to challenge him. Like they're never gonna be able to like defeat him or anything in a fight, or like even present any kind of difficult challenge.
But you know what's interesting about that? Sorry to cut you off.
Oh no.
But what if, as a result of them being like it's not gonna happen, but like it's interesting to think about, because like I think the power gap is what makes it interesting. Because what if he's like, what can you even do? You can't stop me.
Yeah.
And that causes even a bigger
exactly.
Because like, it's not like you could do anything.
That
like,
makes
you're not
it
strong enough to
interesting.
tell me what to do.
That makes it
and then that makes the conflict even more. So like, wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I do want to get to the Yuri thing only because I have to start my stream soon.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
A couple
we
of
can go to the Yuri
a
thing.
couple of the guys have to go to bed for work tomorrow, so I won't start too late. I want to talk about the Yuri thing a lot because.
Yeah, let's go. Yuri, what do you want to see from Yuri going forward?
And just for the last question, what's coming after the nest? I really don't know, because I don't necessarily believe in the princess of Jahan arc.
I don't think it'll happen as we anticipate.
I think that's more of a fan fabricated arc, more so that something SIU has deliberately been like, this is going to happen, we're going to do it like that. I think we kind of as a community have really kind of made that a thing.
Yeah.
I do think we're gonna get to some point where like the princesses we got to focus on the princesses, but I don't know if it'll necessarily be a war or whatever the case is.
It's definitely going to be different than what we think. I agree with you there.
The Yuri thing to me is so fascinating, because I really think with that we can start to really understand the family structures more, who's aligned where, who really like I'm messing with Jahan, I'm not. Is Ha-Yurin upset that not only do you have her great grandson in Suspendium or whatever, but now you took her her granddaughter? Like, what's going on? Did Yuri even get a chance to talk to that guy? Like, why did she? How was Evan taking it? Like, there's so many moving parts here, and then her reintroduction to Bam will be very crazy because look at them now. I don't think she could beat them. So I was like, oh man, it'll be so good. Like, it doesn't like you caught the Chimera, right? I honestly, I'm not gonna spoil anything. Even if it's something as like the Asha arc, that's like 4 chapters. Just take the focus off that for like those 4 chapters. To understand in real time, that's 1 month, but still, you can make that so engaging. And if you need to have Bam be in the chapter, there's many ways you can do it. Does she still have that? That dating sim game? She could be playing it, having thoughts. She can constantly have flashbacks and thinking about what would Bam do here or whatever the case is, because there's one arc in One Piece, I'm not going to go to it, where Luffy's not there, but everyone's always talking about him. Yeah. So he's there in spirit. Because I know he's always complaining about his blog posts, but they don't have Bam in the chapter, whatever, man. Like, I'm tired of him. I need someone else.
I'm going to tell you what I really want from it. First of all, actually, if you ask me what I think is coming after the nest, I actually think Yuri is coming. I think Yuri is the most natural thing to show after the nest, at least right now. Like, we have the army, we have Masheni here. It's going to be so easy to segue into Yuri. What I really want to see from Yuri is I want Yuri to learn the truth about Bomb. I want to see Yuri talk to... We don't have to see the man himself. I want to see Yuri talk.
It could be a
Zahar.
Disembodied voice,
Exactly.
a pocket. I don't care.
Like,
just talk. To
him like you have like this little flashback of like Calavan at like there's a hard wall or something. We can have something like that. But like Yuri went to like learn the truth, and I want her to do that, but I want it to be something that like shakes her. I think Yuri is a character. I know you're a huge Yuri fan, and I think Yuri has a lot of potential. But to me, one of the things I really want from Yuri going forward is to be challenged. You have Yuri who's so steadfast in her ideals, and like I want to see what happens when she receives a shock to her system, and like find out maybe like the truth about Bomb is like not what she thought. Like the truth about Bomb is like what if it's more dangerous than like she expected? Like what if she has to weigh the change that she wants between the change, or like with the change that she'll get if she helps Bomb succeed, or like also I know something we've also talked about.
I could piggyback off that actually, because I can tie this into Karaka and FUG. But when she said to Karaka, she said if I don't defeat him now, he'll become my greatest enemy. I actually think that can tie into that, because let's say Bam becomes accepted properly, whatever, and him and Karaka are more amicable and stuff.
Yeah.
What if like the truth that she learns about the organization or him is something where it's like maybe she has to really the choice is to kind of directly confront him.
Yeah.
And as a result, I don't know. What if Karaka doesn't take that well, and Karaka's like, you're not gonna mess with him, and that's how their conflict starts or resumes, if you will, because she did destroy Pedro. So.
I think, and that actually I can piggyback off that too, because what I was going for, what I was gonna say a second ago is that the most interesting thing that I've heard, I think, is something that Raj said a while ago in our Discord, is that the most interesting thing for me that Yuri could do is get assigned a mission. Like, get assigned a mission to redeem herself, and that mission is to kill Ha Jin Sung. Like, that would... First of all, Yuri doesn't like FUG. We know that already. Like, she was gonna kill Han Sung when she found Bomb anyway. But, like, Yuri already doesn't like FUG. She definitely doesn't like what they're doing to Bomb. So she doesn't have, like, qualms killing these guys. Ha Jin Sung is people love to argue that Jin Sung is actually like super still respected by like the family head and the Ha family and stuff, but Zahard certainly wouldn't have any qualms killing Ha Jin Sung. And to the great families in general, Jin Sung is a war criminal.
I mean, I would even argue FUG was like, yo, he got kidnapped. And like, and we're not using our resources to get him. Karak had to do all this other stuff for it to happen. So like,
him. He's not
I've always found it interesting that FUG was like, do we need it? Like, oh no, man, it's what it is.
He doesn't even like count as an elder. Like he's a very powerful person, but for some reason, his importance is understated within FUG.
I was I was gonna say within his family, what I've always thought was what the truth about him is maybe. Because, like, that entire family, they're technically mixed because of, what's his name? What's the other family?
Arihan?
Yeah, like, I'm like, is he a full-blooded Ha somehow? But then does that make sense? Because, like, did you just give birth herself, virgin birth? So it's like, I think something is different with his lineage. But
maybe. I don't know.
I want to know why he's different amongst people in his family. Is it just because he's literally a direct descendant and one of the oldest ones? Is that why? I don't know. So
yeah, I don't know. Is he like the son or the grandson of
he's
one of the twins?
He's a great grandson of Ha Yurin.
Great grandson of Ha Yurin. Okay. Yeah, so he definitely, I mean, he would have to have some, like, Ari blood in him, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. Oh, no, you're right, because, no, you're talking about it, because he's not the first.
Maybe,
I don't know.
Maybe they used, I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe they used, like, the very well-hidden detail of blood fusion in the story. What I was going to say a really long time ago, too, is that there are some aspects of the Yama stuff that are, like, actually still in there. They're very well hidden, but, like, stuff of the dog fighting rings is like mentioned by Bwelsar, and stuff about blood fusion is mentioned by I think Bwelsar, but also Varagarv. So like,
they said the process is somewhat similar for them. Not similar, but like it's based off or somewhere in the same stratosphere for like the blood of Jihad, even though it's not literally his blood.
Yeah, no. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I think Yuri is in a really good position to develop and and really have a great arc after this. I really hope
and bring something really important to the narrative. I actually do. I think unfortunately I didn't see this myself. There is one more thing I know about the future, and now I'm thinking about it. I do think this would tie in well to that.
Okay.
So
yeah,
because some people on my TL just be posting panels.
Yeah.
So I will.
Nice, but no. So we're in a good spot to go to her, and then after that, I think I really hope it's a while again until we see Bomb. Like I think a lot of us aren't alone in that, but like
maybe Wagner focus.
Exactly. Like I want a Yuri focus, and if we get some Jihad stuff with the Yuri focus, then we're gonna go one of two ways. I think I would love to see Wangnan the most. For some reason, I just think it's gonna be Rachel after. I feel like Rachel. I feel like we're gonna get Rachel.
I forget about that sometimes. Her reintroduction is going to tell me a lot about where we're gonna be going. It's gonna shake things up a lot.
We need three wishes Rachel, dude. We need three wishes Rachel. It's coming. Yep. I really hope she looks the same. I really do. I hope to God she doesn't look like Icarus. I'd be so mad. I think I heard you guys talk about on the stream. Icarus is not a great design. So I really don't want
I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah. Actually, alright, this is a hot take. This is a really hot take, I think. I actually think Rachel's kind of cute. like 60% of the time. I'm like, yeah, Rachel's pretty cute right now.
I've heard that. I heard that. I'm not in the camp. I'm not in that camp.
Fair,
But
fair.
I just always say, hey, she canonically ugly. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
But then the narrative, she ugly. Even Mab said that.
that's
In
true.
season one.
He does. He is like, yeah, she's not the prettiest girl.
Yeah,
Like-
so that's all. I'm
I
saying.
don't even know how did Bomb
Everyone's
know?
taste. I mean, one of the girls have you seen?
I'm like,
maybe
it had to
just
be
a
a
couple
book.
of women he saw you time like, damn, she kind of ugly.
Rachel had to bring Rachel. Maybe she like had to bring a book. There are two things. One, Rachel brought a book and he like saw like a picture book and he saw like hotter girl. Like she brought him like Playboy or something, and he was like, wow, like women like this exist up there. She's like, yeah, Bomb, up above the women like this. Everyone looks like that.
And
Oh,
then he
maybe
became
Rachel did
Conadwan.
tell her. And then also maybe he also just thought about it in like the 10 seconds that he had saw, you know, they'd seen
And
Black
Dorsey
March
or
up to that
something.
point.
Yeah.
Because he was talking to Black March about it when he said she wasn't that pretty. So I'm like, okay, maybe he just thought about it just then. He's like, wow, Black March looks way better than Rachel right now. That's gotta
so
be
funny.
it. But yeah.
I appreciate you having me though.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was really good having you on. Really glad.
I could like, you know, don't if you want to hit me up ever again, don't be afraid, man. I'll be
Hell
around.
yes. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I'd be really excited to have you on again. Definitely, yeah, I've definitely been, and I, of course, you know, if you ever want, like, me on, I'd be happy to come on, too.
Yeah. You can come. You come on for sure. Also, I was
definitely
saying
interested in working
we
with
should do
all
a
y'all.
Kubera one too.
Yes. Literally the only reason I don't do, like, Kubera already is just because, like, A, I don't know what day of the week would work for it, and B, I'm, already caught up to Kubera. The thing about Kubera is I read the Raws there, too, so I'm, like, 30 weeks ahead in Kubera with stuff that's going on.
I'm trying.
But I
not to
love
cave.
Kubera, absolutely. I honestly recommend not caving. Like,
I'm on a Nada 1 right now.
First,
I'm wherever Kubari.moe is, I'm on a Nada 1.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything
It
else. That's
wasn't like the Kubera is harder to talk about. I agree. Like I have trouble discussing Kubera. Like I can't talk about Kubera the same way I talk about ToG. I would totally be interested in the discussion though, because it's
I
such a good webtoon.
definitely, if I don't have
So
like my
good.
notes with me, I get hard carried by the chat.
I think but I will say the thing about like reading the Raw. Honestly, it's not this way for me for Tower of God at all.
Huh.
Some reason for Kubera, I should just stop reading them. Like I should just the thing about it is for me it's like I actually need to like reread everything past Crime and Punishment at this point. Just because like since I'm so like focused on the translations and stuff, like there's just a lot that I've missed. Like there's just a lot that hasn't fully processed for me in Kubera. But yeah, I'd definitely be interested in doing talk about that too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You can center it around something if it just to give it a better level
True.
of focus. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get these Kubera discussions going, like these
yeah.
Tower God discussions, because I really want to talk about it. Like,
Yeah,
this
so
stuff is
good.
really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to make like videos about him too, like the ToG ones when I have like more subscribers.
And I'll watch
stuff.
your Endorse video tonight. I
Thanks,
wasn't
dude.
gonna watch it because I remember you
long.
actually bought it. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. I like that's kind of like what I like to do. Like when I'm about to go to bed. You know, after I'm like I'm baked and I'm fried and it's time for me to sleep. It's
Yeah.
just
The
chillax
gist is
bed.
the gist is it's long and I don't like Endorsey at all anymore.
okay.
But yeah, dude, thanks so much for coming on. I'm really happy. I'm really happy we got you on. I'm really happy we the
No problem. Do you
discussion we
stream
had,
off?
too.
How often do you stream?
ToG is Tuesday. ToG is ToG Tuesdays every Tuesday. I have a drinking game with Lore Olympus on Friday. I used to do it with an ordinary, but I switched to Lore Olympus once we caught up.
I can catch up to that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be too far behind.
Yeah, Lore Olympus is I hate that one too. But Unordinary became good for me. That was a crazy one. Like I didn't think it would be, and I was like, by the end, I was like, wow, Unordinary is good now. That's my thoughts on it now.
I don't know.
I know it's a mix.
I don't think I dislike it. It's
Mixed
just
reception.
do I care?
I like Sarah a lot more than I used to. I'm finally
I'm
warming up to Sarah. I know
Cecile.
you like. Oh, Cecile.
I like her.
There's one
Dr.
scene with
Darren is
Cecile.
my favorite character because he's me.
My favorite's
Like,
Eisen.
listen, and then
Eisen's Eisen's a piece of crap, and I love him.
no, he's cool. Yeah, and Arlo, my favorite too.
Oh
but
yeah, Arlo.
If you like
That was
fused Arlo like Dr. Darren, you kind of have me in ordinary. So
That's good. That's good. Yeah, Dr. Darren definitely.
except for like
no
Arlo's love
nonsense.
for authority, I'm the complete opposite.
Oh,
I do not listen to authority. I
Oh,
have no
yeah.
respect.
Yeah, dude. Oh, but dude, the Arlo moment where he was like, he met his aunt and he was like, we should give up on the safe house. I know people hate the safe house, but I was like, Arlo, you're being weak right now. You're being a big pussy.
Yeah.
A small pee-pee moment. Lost his
I
banana.
want
That's right.
I'm like, you're growing, you're doing the right thing. I need you to keep doing the right thing, man.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, real quick. One quick last thing before you go. Favorite scene in ToG? What is it?
Oh, that's a good one. And it's so funny because like I always like sometimes with these things I'm like I want to have an interesting thing to say, but like it just
Doesn't have to
usually
be.
if it's
You just like
favorite,
it
it
for
just
anything.
ties to Mule Love
Fair.
every time.
All right.
It just ties to
I
Mule Love.
respect
So
it.
I'll give you two. I'll give you the most impactful moment, like the hook, like when I knew I would never put Tower God down, so to speak. Han Sung-Yu's examination. I really love
It's an incredible
how
arc.
Shibisu figured it out. He's the only
He's
one
so good.
who passed the test literally knowing what he was doing, and I can't get it out of my head.
I love
Like,
Shibisu.
how far we get.
I'll forgive him for anything. Yeah.
Like, he's like, okay, you had this guy do this, blah, 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 shoot him in 5 minutes. Therefore, it just means open the door in 5 minutes. I'm like, look at this guy. I thought he was a waste man with his tracksuit and his buzz cut. He's smart. I like him. So
Yeah.
that, like the first moment made me go pop big. But it's actually Mule Love's moment of introspection after he messes up with Bam. When he's talking to a Gus
That
and
was
he
good.
knows he messed up
That
and
was
someone
really good.
died on his watch, and he's remorseful about it, and he wants to get them like when he gets some fried chicken, he's like, no, it's sweet and sour pork. Like that whole moment is my favorite moment. Tower God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Nice.
I'm
No, you
Mule
don't.
Love is just
Don't
I just love
apologize,
that guy.
bro. It's valid. It's valid. Yeah.
Dude, he's perfect.
Yeah.
He's perfect. Hey, tell Bam to run him his royalty checks for the years he was using Blue Order.
Nice. Yeah. True. He definitely. Yeah. He's copyright on that. He's trademarked it. He needs to put a watermark on it. So like anytime Bomb uses him, there's just like a big like, it's like Mule Love's faces on it, every time. It's such a useful ability. It's probably Bomb's most useful ability at the end of the day.
Hey, he's a Don Sula, man. Respect.
Yeah. True.
It's my guy.
Yeah.
Chicken Love Club.
All right. I'll let you hop onto your own stream then.
Oh man, thank you for
Alright.
having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, guys, that I think does it for ToG Tuesdays this week. I really hope you guys enjoyed this interview. I think we got a lot of ground covered here. It was really interesting. Does anyone? Do you guys have anything? I'm definitely getting Nia back on again. Thanks for the follow, Kane. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. If you have any closing remarks, feel free to like DM me or Nia or anything. Go ahead and join the Nia Hemmingz Discord. I think it's on his YouTube channel. But yeah, it's a great spot. And tune into his stream after this. He's ranking shonen protagonists. He put Alan Walker in A tier, so I have no complaints. But yeah, have a good one, guys, and I'll see you on Friday for Lore Olympus Fridays.